This is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Hello and welcome out to this week's episode of Gamers Council. Oh my goodness, boy, what a day! I'm so glad everybody's here to talk about Power World and how well it's doing. What? Oh, there's other things to talk about. We'll get into all of that. Oh my goodness, it's going to be a hell of a show. We have over 100 people in chat so far. Welcome out. Thank you all for being here, and it's going to get crazy. We have several wonderful guests. One is on his way. So Timdog will be here in just a little bit, and we will definitely bring him in as soon as he's available. Don't worry. He is coming. He is on his way. But we are so happy and privileged to have with us the one and only Mr. Boomstick XL. Boom, welcome to the show, sir.
Listen, it's a long time coming, folks. Like I said, obviously, you know, I try to guest as many places as I can. I know I owe a couple of guest appearances to PTK Blam and, of course, Risky for the Biscuit. But on the weekends, it's usually reserved for Mrs. Boom because, you know, she only gets 2 days off a week. But she obviously, with her blessing, said, go do your thing. You got breaking news. You got to hang out with the guys. And here I am, folks. And you know what? Look. The news is the news. I think that, and I was saying this to the guys in the green room, I think what I have to learn to do is get out of my own way and understand that the gaming market is no longer focused on me, and that it's a much bigger picture. I'm not happy with it. I'm not quitting Xbox. I'm not jumping off bridges or running out windows because Xbox games going to be available on other platforms. But folks, I think we're going to have an amazing conversation. I want to say a big thank you to everyone that's here. Please, by all means, while you're here, hit the like button for Dave and for RHETRI. And more importantly, if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to their channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. But thanks for the welcome, brother. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And then, of course, my co-host, RHETRI. What's up, buddy? How's it going?
It's going.
We got any topics tonight?
Well, they changed. They definitely changed. I had a bunch of topics on the list, and they're all gone.
Yeah, it happens to me more often than I like to admit that you write the shows and you just go like this to the trash. Bloop.
This doesn't happen to us normally, Boom, on a Sunday. Like you feel safe on a Sunday. Like all the news has happened. What new thing could possibly come out at the ass end of the week? Stuff
on a
came
Sunday
out. On a Sunday. Yeah. So let's start off with the Adidas20 with the $10. Says, what's up, Web, RHETRI, Timmy, and Mr. Boom? After downing Long Island's for days, I'm back home. Welcome back, buddy. Boom, I had a Dr. Pepper for you, but I consumed more alcohol. It keeps me looking young. July come quick. All right. Yeah, I think he's going back to Sin City in July. I think that's why he's saying that. Adidas20 has gifted a membership and for the Gamers Council. So I appreciate you, Adidas. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, this is it's crazy, man. Like, you know, we're gonna start off. I'll just do this real quick. Congratulations to Power World for being super successful on the Xbox platform. We heard a lot of people like saying, "Oh, it's only big in Steam," and we saw that they're the biggest third-party Xbox Game Pass launch ever and reached 7 million players on Xbox. So congrats to them. Me and Dave love that game. We've been playing it like crazy. Normally, Boom, we would. Anyone on the show, we'd be like, hey, what you playing? Any movies and TV and all that jazz? What you watching? We skipping all that as well as a bunch of we're skipping all that because we want to talk about the big bad news that is happening, whether you think it's big bad or that's up to everyone here. For me,
you can read that on Yobi real quick too.
oh yeah, sure. What's up? Yobi, Boom is live on a Sunday. What the fuck is going on? LOL at WebDave. Yeah. Thank you,
Sorry.
Yobi, for coming out. No,
Thanks,
you're good. You're good. I appreciate you, man. We got Jesus. All right. We already got about 230 people here live watching this. So luckily we don't have to do those intro things because we usually do that so everyone can start like shuffling in here. But I think you
record
guys
numbers
know.
today, guys,
I
and
think
it's well deserved. You guys put on a great show
Yeah.
each and every week. You guys are phenomenal community members. You guys run a great tight ship, and love the success. Love it.
Appreciate that, Boom. Thank you, man. It's we've been working hard over here. But man, like I've been listening. I was listening to ILP. I saw what happened on Twitter, and honestly, I've been pacing, like literally just like on my phone, like pacing, like just walking around like an idiot. But let's get into it. I'm sure every single person here knows what is happening, but in case they don't, let's get into it. This is still, you can take it how you want. This is can still be considered, I guess, in the theme of like the rumor mill. But who it's coming from, when there's smoke, there's fire. We heard Jez say this. We've heard other guys say this. This feels way too legit to ignore. We'll start off with the exclusive from Xbox Air that happened only a few hours ago. They were on, John was on ILP tonight to talk about what he basically says. So exclusive is Microsoft plans Starfield launch for PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Whoo! Okay, look, I thought things were happening. I thought, okay, Hi-Fi Rush,
Sea of
goes
Thieves,
Nintendo, Sea
Grounded.
of Thieves, these things check marked inside my business mind and said, makes sense. And then we hear this. It's much bigger and grander than I actually thought, even myself, it was going to be. So let me lay it out on what they said. It says, for many weeks now, rumors have persisted regarding Microsoft's intentions to release a number of first-party games, namely Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves, on rival platforms. According to our sources from Xbox Air, who have asked to remain anonymous because they were not authorized to talk about the company plans, obviously, that list of games also includes Bethesda Game Studios' Starfield. Starfield released back in August of 2023 to fairly positive reception despite the narrative that now exists online. And that was the biggest Bethesda game launch of all time, surpassing 6 million players within a week of release. Now it looks as though Microsoft is planning on bringing Bethesda's newest RPG universe to an entirely new platform, PlayStation 5. It says, according to our sources, we understand that currently Microsoft are planning a launch for Starfield on PlayStation 5 post the release of the already announced Shattered Space expansion for Xbox and PC, which is on target to arrive at some point later this year. We've also been informed that Microsoft made an additional investment into PlayStation 5 dev kits to support ongoing development efforts, adding further fuel to the fire. As already existing rumors have suggested, the idea of bringing first-party titles to competing console platforms marks a massive change in strategy for Microsoft, and from what I understand, it's not been without fierce internal debate on this new direction. I'm sure Matt Booty holding the line. I have no doubt Matt Booty was on the other side of that going, no, let's not do this. Releasing Starfield on PlayStation 5 contradicts the original statement around exclusivity made by President of Xbox Sarah Bond during the Xbox and Bethesda Game Studios Summer Showcase in 2021. All right, I guess I'll just read the rest of this. It's a short thing. According to our sources, Microsoft's senior leadership have reportedly debated the various pros and cons of releasing more of their exclusive software elsewhere, and internally, not everyone is necessarily happy with the decision, but recouping the potential money left on the table by not releasing elsewhere has arguably won out. So, sounds to me like corporate greed here obviously won out. It's business. It is what it is. According to sources, Hi-Fi Rush's release on rival platforms is tentatively planned for Q1 of this year, which we heard that rumor earlier too. And we've been advised to expect Microsoft to make a more public announcement on this new strategy this month, being February. So John says, hey, how do you guys feel about Starfield coming to PlayStation 5 after all? So yeah, that happened, and then it didn't stop there.
Yeah. Let's knock out these 2 super chats real quick,
Okay,
and then,
yeah,
and then we'll
yes.
hold off on super chats after Boom talks.
Yeah.
So, but go ahead.
All right. Galveston with the $2 says PlayStation Portal is the new Microsoft handheld. Yeah, I mean, okay. BT Maverick 707 with the $5 says, as a Raiders fan that gets to watch the Chiefs and 49ers play in our stadium, thinking, well, this can't get any worse. Xbox hold all of these beers. Fair enough. Look, I'm not gonna sit here. I have my thoughts on this. I'm not gonna sit here and tell anyone else how to feel which way or the other on this and what's happening. This is still it's fresh. It's very fresh.
Yeah.
It's still new. And people are just some people are shocked. Some people probably not shocked. But I can tell you on the titles that we heard about, I'm a little shocked.
Yep.
And then what happened next was The Verge had to press publish. Let's be honest. We saw John on ILP, and he basically all admitted like it was this was gonna come out tomorrow, but I think he might have got a whiff of maybe someone else beating them to the story, and it sounds like Xbox Era wanted to be first because if you're not first, you're last.
It's a game, right? You know,
it's a game.
Whoever gets first wins, and you know something. Look, 100%. I'm going to be honest with you. Shout out to Xbox Era for letting the cat out of the bag. They are small and growing, and I say small. They're about to hit 25,000 subscribers on YouTube. This is going to, obviously push them, to rocket them to further success.
Yeah.
This news was going to come out. This news has been festering for weeks.
Yep.
I've talked about it. I've gave you my spiel on, how I thought that Chai as a character was endearing, and that I think that he deserves to be in the same sentence as Master Chief and Marcus Phoenix. And I think but ultimately it's just is what it is. It's funny because you guys remember Tim Stewart, obviously he's the CFO of Xbox.
Right.
He had said something that, PlayStation and Nintendo Switch were a part of the conversation, and then Phil Spencer came out and said, no, hold folks, that's not what's happening. It's only where Game Pass is going to be. And unfortunately that has now been exploded. Yeah. Unfortunately it's the Charlie Brown teacher. Womp, 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 womp.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, I think a lot of us felt I think most of us believed Phil and just thought it's a CFO maybe misrepresenting and mistalking suits talking to other suits, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got my Jim Ryan suit on tonight, by the way.
But at least it's clean. I mean, RHETRI, at least it's not a dirty, stretched
Where's your
out
cookies,
t-shirt.
Randy? Where's your cookies, RHETRI?
No cookie for you.
Cookie for you.
All right, let me pull the other Band-Aid off of this because depending on what side of the fence, I know, depending on what side of the fence you sit on, it could be construed as getting worse. So, like I was saying earlier, The Verge saw what Xbox Era was doing, and they had to publish tonight because I don't think any of these stories were coming out tonight unless Xbox Era published first. They say Microsoft weighs launching Indiana Jones on the PlayStation 5. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle could arrive on PS5 months after the Xbox launch. Bethesda's upcoming Indiana Jones game is also tentatively set to launch on Sony's PlayStation 5 console. We got our first glimpse of it during the Microsoft Xbox Developer Direct last month, where it was announced for Xbox and PC. A source familiar with Microsoft plans tells The Verge that Bethesda is also considering bringing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle to PS5. A new multi-platform approach for certain Xbox games is emerging inside Microsoft, we're told, with the company weighing up titles will remain exclusive and others that will appear on Switch or PS5 in the future. Indiana Jones appeared to be part of this new wave of multi-platform games. Jesus. All right, I'll keep going. With Bethesda will launch its Indiana Jones game first as an Xbox console exclusive. It's currently set to have a rather short It's set to have a rather short period of exclusivity, we're told at The Verge. A release for PS5 is being considered for some months later, with Bethesda tentatively targeting a December 2024 launch for the Xbox and PC versions. So it looks like they kind of dropping the dime too on the Xbox release of Indiana Jones. At least they're targeting December 2024. And then maybe, I don't know, 3-6 months later, it comes to PlayStation in 2025 if they can hit their dates. But let me start this off asking you, Boom, how you felt. Let's just pretend you didn't know some of this stuff. How did you feel when the rumor was just Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves, a gas game, versus what I just basically said and that whole gauntlet?
I mean, I have
a difference for you.
Yeah, well, look, I'm a dinosaur, and I understand that, folks. You know, I've been gaming since '78. I've been a part of gaming since I was 8 years old, and I have seen, and I've been in the schoolyards. You know, this console is better than the other console, right? You know, I got, when I was 15, I got my NES, but I also went out and, you know, I delivered papers. I delivered the Daily News because my $7 allowance from my pops wasn't enough. So I went out and got a Sega, my first Sega, you know, the Master System. I have been a multi-plat kid since I could remember. There's never been a particular year in gaming that I didn't have all the consoles. I've always, because back then, and even till up and recently, you owned a PlayStation because you were a fan of God of War, Uncharted. Just keep going, right? Ratchet and Clank. It has all these amazing exclusives. You buy an Xbox and you support this brand, and I've been supporting the brand since it launched in 2001. Right? It's I've been a part of the brand, and I'm not sorry that I did. It's my favorite brand. And I bought into the brand because Halo and Gears and Forza and, you know, and all of the other, you know, games before it, Starfield. There isn't a huge list of exclusives as you would find on like Nintendo and PlayStation, but it's fine because every platform had exclusives that kept me invested in the ecosystem. When I first heard of this news, now I kind of got out in front of it, and again, I'm not going to throw a temper tantrum. I'm going to be 54. Like Xbox is still going to be where I play my games. But the truth of the matter is that this is, at least in my personal opinion, corporate greed at its finest. This is what Everborn Saga was afraid of when we have, and same thing for Keisante. We were all concerned that Xbox was just going to become Microsoft, and even though they're going to try and sell it to you as this platform. After this news, there just isn't a platform anymore. You know, I mean, you buy into a brand because it's going to be where you play. Now, granted, here's the thing, folks, and I know this is not what people are going to want to hear, but this is the sad reality. Xbox Game Pass is and will always be the exclusive for people, Xbox gamers, who invest in the platform. because for $16.99 a month, you're going to get these games day and date. Now, I don't know if there's going to be some sort of a clarification, because tomorrow there's no doubt that right now Redmond is panicking.
Yeah.
It's DEFCON 5 over there. The cat's out of the bag. Everyone is disappointed. People are, kind of throwing the brand to the wind. And if you feel that way and you feel betrayed, I'm not going to fight against you. I'm disappointed, folks. I actually am, because when I first heard, like, for instance, Hi-Fi Rush, the game is special, man. I mean, I finished it. I started playing. I'm almost going to run through it a second time. It's a special game. And now that that's going to be on Switch and it's going to be on PlayStation, is it going to sell well? Well, it could very well. It could actually sell more there because there are more players than it sold on Xbox. Who knows? I know that there is no Game Pass on PlayStation. I know there's no Game Pass on Nintendo Switch 2. So the fine folks that are on those consoles are going to buy these games, and I think that the bean counters at Redmond are salivating over ROI goodness, because everyone's going to be getting paid. And unfortunately, Xbox gamers who have been with this brand when it was on the high note in the 360, and then on the low note in the Xbox One, and then this generation comes out and they make all these big acquisitions. And really, I understand things change. I understand that, now, Amy Hood is involved in this. We got to remember, folks.
Yeah.
After the announcement of last week's $3 trillion announcement, and the fact that Xbox is number 3 on their money-making list above Windows.
Windows, dude.
Think about that for a second, folks.
Crazy.
That tells you that they are, and you know something, I think it was Kay Asante that actually said this. I don't want to take credit for it, so Kay Asante, if you're listening, brother, this is all for you. He said they did not become a $3 trillion company by leaving any money on the table.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that is the reality. But for me, what does that change for me? Well, I mean, I'm disappointed because obviously we some people are going to say that we were sold a lie. They told us what they wanted us to, what we wanted to hear, so we could just be excited about the brand. And if you feel that way, folks, you have every right to feel that way. But for me, even though I'm terribly disappointed with it, I understand that nothing is going to change for me as a consumer. I'm still paying my $17 a month. I'm still getting these games in a service that the other brands do not have, that do not want to have, and I'm going to be playing these games on my platform of choice. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of these games, folks, are going to lose the shine of exclusivity. They're not going to be as shiny as they were if they were only on one box. And I think what we have to learn, guys, is, well, what's the limit? Where's the line in the sand? Yeah, because is Halo Infinite heading over there? Is Forza Motorsport the next one? Is Gear 6 going to launch on PlayStation? I don't know. And the reason why we don't know is because, I hate to say this, Sarah, Phil, Aaron, Matt, they're MIA, and it's not good. Listen, one of the biggest issues with Microsoft, and specifically Xbox, folks, is their messaging has been nothing short of egregious, and it was just getting better. And in the last couple of weeks, obviously there's a lot of people in the chat like, boom, we can't say confirmed because we didn't hear from them, but they've been ducking and they've been hiding, and they've been nowhere to be found. And listen, we have heard, it was in the story that there's a lot of infighting right now. So I don't know who's actually ultimately responsible for this. Again, you got to remember, Phil may be against this, but he does have people above him. And obviously, I
Yeah.
don't think Phil's going to come out and say, you know, I tried to push back against this and we lost.
No,
'cause
they
then he's
have
gonna
to
lose
do
his
a
job.
unified. No, they have to do a
Right.
unified front. I don't think you would ever say anything like that. But you know, maybe Amy Hood. You guys can direct your hate towards her. I guess I don't know, because I'm sure it was people above Phil that were like, the numbers make sense. If the data makes sense and the numbers make sense, we've been saying, like these corporations are not your friend. But we got Tim with us.
Yes, can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. How you doing, man?
How you guys doing?
You sound a little low there, Tim.
Yeah, if you want to
Yeah.
crank it up, you can.
Can you crank me up? Crank me up. We'll talk into the
yeah.
mic.
You got it.
Hello.
Welcome.
I heard there's some slow news there, right?
It's yeah, there's not much going on. We're going to talk about Pal World and Sega layoffs and Sony State of Play. All that's out the window. Yeah. We got better things to talk about.
I got to tweet out the show. I will do that in a second.
Appreciate that, Tim.
I know Keegley said he might be stopping on in the chat.
Somebody said that it sounds like you're calling from the PlayStation Network right now because your audio is just a little low or something.
Yeah, I mean, I could try doing the PC, but that's another 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
No, you're fine. You're good.
Yeah, you're fine.
If I'm good, let me know.
You are good.
Well, I'm basically Xbox, the way Xbox sounds right now in regards to all these rumors.
Silent but deadly. Yeah.
Let's
get into it.
Let's get into it. Listen. I just want to know, you guys will always be my friends. I'm not going to be no Red Dragon guy. That's not my MO. I love the Xbox community. I love Aaron Greenberg. Phil's still cool. I'm still cool with him. But there comes a time where you have to stand up for what you believe in, or there comes a line where if it's been crossed, you can't stand by it. And I think that's where we're at here. We're gonna have a ton of talks about. So I don't know where we are in the conversation. If you guys have questions or what you want to know, or however you want to go about it. But today's a pretty crazy day.
It definitely is.
Kind of sad, but it is video games. It is, this isn't real life. So people, tend to think about. But
Tim, I did want to not interrupt you, but when you first came on, I couldn't see any of your name stuff, and I had to shorten it. But you can go back in and change it. Now we can see it. Now it's showing up, so it's whatever you want. I just didn't want you to think I edited for any other reason.
You can do whatever you want.
It's all good. It's all good. So everyone knows that it is.
So what do you guys think? Where are we at? Is anybody for this in this room? And if you are, that's fine.
I'm not for
the consumer.
I'll say that right now. I don't think anybody's for it. I really don't think that any of us are for. I think we get step back. There's a big picture. I'm probably, everybody's like, well, there's roadmap and all this and all this kind of stuff, like, but I don't. It just doesn't, to me, on face value, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't seem like it's like, why would they do this when they made this big acquisition, all this money? They're just released their numbers for the end of last year, and they are on fire and they're doing fantastic. And it's even surpassed Windows as far as the revenue that they're making off of the gaming division. Why would they do this now? So I don't know, and maybe we'll get your thoughts on that. That's my point of view, just to start with. But Timdog, yeah, just anything you want to say about it, just go right ahead. Everybody's here listening, and we'll make a conversation out of this. I promise.
Yeah, we already opened it up, Tim, to basically the beans are spilled. Like everyone knows what's up. So we went right into it right away, dude. So if you want to speak your piece on it,
so basically, like I stated, listen, I've been an Xbox fan since day one. I've lobbied and I've been an influencer for the consoles since 2007. I've been extremely loyal. I've went through the ups and downs, and this is just at a point where, you know, if they do something that just like rides in the face of what they've been promising you, and you know, they did promise that the games like Starfield will be exclusive and where Game Pass exists, the what they said. So that's my main issue is that too many times. I think you're asking Xbox core fans for the most part to swallow all this, and it's just too much. It's too much. It's too
Pause.
fast, and I think we deserve better. And do I think they're going to change? Nope. This is at a level. This is beyond like Xbox game. When the Xbox Live pricing, this is way beyond this. This is CFO level. The data probably supports it.
Yeah.
Type level. This can keep our lights on, and this can, you know, make our lives easier if we want to even grow more and buy more companies. We're a full third party company, and that's where this is going. Do I understand the mindset? 100%. Will that get them to number one faster than the way that we would probably want them to go about it? Yes, this will get them to number one possibly by the end of the year. Um, it makes sense from a financial thing. It just doesn't make sense. I don't think long term. I think that what you're doing is you're basically front ending your profits, and you're hurting yourself in the back end. The 2026 console at this point, I would dead it. I would not try. Their hardware is dead on arrival with this move.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
I think it's dead on arrival. They have greenlit hardware that's coming 2026, 2027, whatever you want to say. That when that hits, that's when you're going to start to see the repercussions of what they're doing now. Then, because at that point, it's going to be basically bashed in the customer's head that PlayStation is a place to get consoles. We'll wait for that. We have PS5 Pro. We're playing the best versions of Xbox games for the last 2 years. Everything's going to come to us. You don't need to do it. We'll wait it out. And I don't think the console sales will be strong at all. And I think they're just better off just going full third party and leaving it at that, because that's how drastic this move is. It's that drastic, and it's going to erode your hardcore Xbox fans, your whales who spend the most money on Xbox. Guys like Quobrel, you'll probably see go away, or who knows. Guys like me, you probably see me talking about the Mets and not Xbox consoles.
No.
And you'll be seeing, you know, I think the content creators just need to go with the flow. You guys are great. Xbox content creators are the best. Just, you know, basically cover PlayStation, because they're relevant now. They're basically
Never.
Xbox. That's the reality is that we are a screen to Xbox. We are no more than a screen. They don't care if you play on PlayStation and spend $70 for Indiana Jones or $50 for Indiana Jones on
Sure.
PlayStation. They don't care. So at this point, I'm not caring. And do I think they handled this? They handled this in the absolute worst cowardly way you can handle it.
Yeah.
You have to handle it better than they did. They just have a complete mess on their hands. This is PR nightmare 101 once again, and you know what?
Right.
It's self-inflicted, and it's all on them, and I don't feel sorry for them. Like I said, I'm just gonna go about my business. I'll still play on Xbox. I'm not abandoning that, but I'm gonna get Pro, and I might wait for some console exclusives to come. Who knows? I'll always have them on Xbox or PC, but at the end of the day, this is you're cutting your nose despite your face,
Yeah.
and it's just bad move. And you know what? They know it's bad, and that's why they're afraid to admit it. And there's no recourse. There's going to be no recourse, meaning they're not going to say, "Hey, I listened to Timdog and Rand and Jez and Webb and Boomstick, and they're all upset, and we got to do this." There's none of that. They're going to say, "Oh, they don't
Yeah.
matter. People don't care. The casuals don't care. 3 billion screens. Let's get it on. Let's get the money." So that's where it's at. It's sad times. I'm not. I heard that even Call of Duty's not going to come in Game Pass. That's one of their brilliant ideas. Another thing that they promised
God, I hope that's not true.
could not be happening. Who knows? You're gonna be hearing a lot of stuff, and you know what? It's all justified because they can't be trusted, and that's my honest opinion. And it's a sad day in that fact that I'm saying that because I've always been a proponent of them. They listen,
Mhm.
but I get it's a business, and I get that rent is due, and to keep the lights on, this is the only way that they think that they can go about it. It makes sense in the short term, does not make sense in the long term, and you can kiss hardware goodbye.
Do you think this was like that desperate though, just to keep the lights on, or do you think this was just like greed? We just want more money because it sounded like Xbox was doing great. The Xbox division themselves is doing fine.
But on the hardware side, they got spooked. Basically, last 3 months of last holiday, even though they rose 3%, they had consoles for $349 and nobody cared, and that's a scary thing. For whatever reason, they're an afterthought in UK. They're a distant third in their home market in the United States. Xbox One was more wanted than this freaking console. How that happened, I have no idea. It just happened, and their hardware took a shit, and they got spooked. And they said, you know what, hardware is dead, and foreseeable future. Amy Hood also said it. They see that it was unexpected, and they're expecting declines in hardware year over year from this moment forward. They pivoted. They said, hey, we're going to do this console, and they leaked a little bit of stuff. It's going to be probably a console that you take with you, where it's like a dock, and then you take it and you can play it on your phone or whatever. With the screen, you can attach it and you can play games on the cloud or whatever, or take it with you type deal. That hardware is what they pivoted in Greenlight. Jez wrote that. But yeah, no, this is something where they said, hey, Game Pass is unsustainable. The market that we have, the little bit of market share that we have is not enough to offset all this for the cost of it makes these games. We need these platforms to be a part of us. It makes sense. And basically, they were pushed into doing this. Do I think Aaron Greenberg wants to do this? No way. Do I think even Phil wants to do this? No way. But when he has the CFO, Amy, and Tim saying, listen, this is what it is, they're going to make a scenario where they're going to say, hey, the discourse don't matter. We've discussed that, but our metrics say, and they're going to come up with something that's going to be absolutely murdered in the media, and it's going to be a big joke. I'm telling you that's coming, whether that's tomorrow or Tuesday. Who knows? It's probably kicked up, but they're no longer in, they're in full business mode. They're in full rent is due. This is our ROI. And one person who told me this, and I remember when he said it, he said, Tim, you might not like Xbox when they do get Activision. I said, why? I said,
oh, no.
Because they want return on investment, and $68 billion is so much money that all bets are off. And you know what? It was so true. And that was somebody who worked at Xbox. I'm not going to mention his name.
Sure.
But he was right. And here we are. His words ring true. And where this is going to go, this is probably rock bottom for where they're going to get. I heard they have an insane showcase that's going to be crazily good with a ton of games, but everyone's going to say, oh, well, I'll wait for 3 months, asterisks and that stuff. So that's where they're at. There's no changing this. There's no recourse, in my opinion.
Wow.
As bad as it's gotten on the
internet, you're killing me, Tim.
Worse.
Hey,
man,
Tim,
go ahead.
Thank you so much for being here. And I'm just want to make sure that you know that we really appreciate you being here and coming on and talking tonight. And I'm not trying to dismiss you. We're coming back to you.
Sure.
We have over 500.
I spoke a lot, so I got my point.
580 people here in the chat. Thank you all so much. please hit the like button if you get a chance. If you want to subscribe, great. We'd love to have you subscribe, but please hit the like button or dislike if you don't like me and Retri's haircut. Just I'm just kidding. But let's get to what happened.
I'm sure he'll come back. I think.
He's having some technical issues. I mean, you know what? Look, I don't think that there is a more diehard true fan than Timdog.
Correct.
Look, I can't speak for him. I can only make an assumption based on what I just heard in the last 10-15 minutes. He seems defeated as an Xbox fan. And look, here's the thing. I get what he's saying, and I'm disappointed. I think that we were sold a direction of exclusivity that has now unfortunately been side or railroaded by others that are higher up in the food chain at Microsoft. This to me seems like a Microsoft decision, not an Xbox decision.
Without a doubt.
And I understand that they are the same company, but the Xbox division is something that is run by Phil Spencer, by Sarah Bond, by Matt Booty, by Aaron Greenberg. Those are the talking heads that we know and have a significant amount of fondness for. This does definitely sound like it's coming from the CFO of Xbox, Tim. What is his last name?
Poopy Pants. I don't remember his last name anymore right now, but he's definitely, we know which side he voted on for this. There's no doubt in my mind. Like, it doesn't take a genius to figure out where Amy Hood and him probably sat on this decision.
Look.
Go ahead.
All I can say is that I'm still going to play on Xbox. I'm still going to do my 5 shows a week. I'm still going to be excited about games coming out. I just think that, like I said, for the shyness that comes with exclusivity, is something that Sony and Nintendo use to great advantage with their consoles. Right? They both sell very well. And why I'm disappointed is because Xbox was just like it.
Why didn't they let it breathe, Boom?
They didn't give it a chance to breathe.
Yes, exact. That's I guess that's probably where I come from. Where I'm ride or die. I'm Team Green. I'm going down with the fucking ship. I don't care. I do Game Pass daily. I'm not going anywhere, and I will continue to make a ton of content based on Game Pass because I love it. But this feels like they didn't even give it a chance to succeed. Like, you didn't even, you were riding the ship, you were doing everything right, and then you were just like, nah, dollar bills, y'all. Like, they couldn't help themselves. You know what I'm saying? And that's to Tim's point earlier, and I don't want to speak on him, but I'll let him speak on this. But it feels like you guys, or what Tim was saying earlier, is they are eroding the value of the Xbox console itself, which is probably why Tim, I guess, is saying that he thinks that next one is dead on arrival, because it's everywhere now. I mean, you don't necessarily gonna need an Xbox. That's gonna become probably more true than ever in the future. I'm still gonna get mines, like, because I love tech. I'll always get it. I'll always get the new hotness. But
I'll probably get it too.
But I'm hard. Yeah, you will. You will. Just don't tell anybody.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's
you
funny.
just go to those Met fans. They don't need to know shit.
Well, that's their counter argument. They'll say, Tim will throw Tim and everyone else will throw their hands up in the air, but in the end they'll do buy it. And you know what? It's hard to argue when they have Game Pass and they have that stuff. I don't know, but like I said, it's like you said it great. Why not just let it breathe? Why not just delay it for a year, okay? Or delay it for 6 months. Delay it for just when you can get COD on Game Pass. I guarantee you'll see some movement. But nope, here we are, and they're gonna have, it's gonna be a real ugly day. I don't know if they're gonna talk tomorrow. I see that in the chat, but I heard the timelines moved up. So
Yeah.
Well, the
I'd
original
imagine so.
messaging rumors, Tim, was that they were gonna Sarah was gonna wait to the spring. But
Yeah.
obviously, the longer they wait, the
Yeah, but
more it's
wasn't
gonna-
that from a Sony guy? Wasn't that
No,
that
I
part,
talked to
or was
that
that
guy. He's
okay?
a legit guy, but he's not what they said he was. They said he
Okay.
worked with ZeniMax, but I did talk to him. But he also told me that there was no AAAs. It doesn't make sense. So, I had heard that it was earlier from a really good source that it was no AAAs, and I was still
Well, we
pissed
know
about
that's
it.
not true.
And then last night, I got a call at like 11:30, literally East Coast time, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Tim, Starfield's on the thing," and I just was like, "No."
I knew you knew, dude. I could tell by the way you were like typing stuff out today, and like when you went on
Okay.
ILP, I was like, Tim fucking knew, dude. He knew about
Yeah.
Starfield. Yeah.
So when I heard that, and then I'm like, here I am. I already outed myself saying if they do that, and I wrote them emails. They all knew how, that was my line, and I'm not
Sure.
going to go against what I say too. If that line's crossed, it's crossed, and they crossed it. But yeah, no, it was known, and I just don't like. Also, what really annoys me is that the way they leak stuff, and they've always had this problem. Like, why are you leaking it to those people who don't like Xbox, who are going to put you in a bad spot? If they didn't leak anything and they just dropped this on our heads on a Tuesday, I guarantee you we might actually handle it better. Because
Timdog,
like,
do you think it was? But I got a question about the whole leak thing. Do you think that was internally leaked on purpose, or do you think it was some a-hole that was going against an NDA and taking a chance of losing their job that leaked it to guys like Shinobi or
what
whoever?
I heard is that's a good question. I heard that's people that were going to be affected and really didn't want this to happen. They kind of wanted it to get out so that there would be a public outcry and pushback that there might be an outside chance. But like I told that person, dude, when you're at a CFO level and they're saying, hey, these are the metrics, and hey, we want to buy, because they still want to buy companies,
Yes.
they have no problems now buying another company. The Call of Duty appeal case, that's gone because it's obvious where they're going. They're going to state publicly, we want all the games on PlayStation. We don't care. And that in themselves doesn't hurt them competitively or doesn't hurt the competitive market. So you could, in a bunch of ways, they fix that whole problem.
Well, it does open a door
regulatory-wise.
for them, Tim, to potentially go
Yeah.
on and say, let's say they go out and they buy a Take-Two.
They want to. That's what I'm saying is that
Yeah.
they want
Yep.
to. And they're going to be a fucking, excuse my language, they're going to be
No, you're good.
a tremendous, huge AAA number one revenue beast that that's still, I guess they're going to have the hardware. Who remains to be seen. It's just that, like I said, you did it in spite of your loyal fans, and then you did it
Yeah.
in spite of your own words too. You
Right.
the words that you built that vision for us. It wasn't us sitting on that round table saying, where your games are going to be where Game Pass exists. And there's just been a lot of double talk here, and they got themselves in a lot of trouble now because now everyone is freaking pissed, and I mean everyone.
Everyone,
And
yeah.
it's bad.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we welcome out to over 670 people in the chat.
Nice.
Thank you so
Nice,
much
dude.
for being here. We greatly appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you, guys.
RHETRI, let's read through some.
Let's do it.
Literally plow through these super chats and members.
Yeah.
And thank you for the gifted memberships, by the way.
Yeah.
Oops. Let's do that. Sorry.
Highlander 001 just became a member for 4 months. Again, thank you, Highlander. Welcome back, sir. Welcome to the council. And it was gifted 5 memberships as well. So appreciate you, man. Highlander with the $5 super chat says, All-Star panel, it's great to see you. In my opinion, Microsoft has just told anyone who is thinking of getting an Xbox to save your money and get a PlayStation 5 or a PC. I can't, I'm not gonna go back and forth. I'm ride or die, but I'm not gonna come at people tonight with their feelings because I don't blame Tim. I don't blame a lot of you guys the way you're feeling right now. Spartan661 just became a member for 2 months, says Timdog. What's up, Spartan? Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Highlander 001 with the $2 says, I know how that's a good one. I know how Lions feel like this news.
God.
Yeah, poor. Just kick a field goal, Lions. Little
Oh
Cocker.
God.
Yeah, sorry, I want to bring up old
That's
ones.
so true, though.
It's very true.
It's,
Nothing could be truer. Little Conker with the $2 says a huge L. So disappointed in Xbox leadership. There you go.
Couple more.
Can't really argue with that. Mike with the $10 says, you don't make this move in the middle of a console generation after years of convincing Japanese developers to support Xbox. Microsoft is making more money from Xbox than ever. There is no need to rush it. And I think, I kind of agree with you, Mike. That's what we were kind of saying earlier. Galveston, what's up, buddy? With the $5 says, the worst part is not having the digital library on other platforms. Maybe they will get Play Anywhere going on all services hardware. Very good point, Galveston. You're not the first person I saw say that. That's a very, very valid concern. Umbra with the $5 says, how soon do you guys think Microsoft will officially respond to this? I say they'll have to within this week. Within this week now.
Tomorrow.
Keep your heads up. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's going to be tomorrow morning.
I think it's going to be tomorrow, right?
I look. I don't know for sure because obviously Tim has a lot more inside sources than I do. But this is something, unfortunately, right now. Since this news started breaking during ILP, the red alarms went off in Redmond. Somebody leaked this. I don't know. Again, whoever leaked it, I hope people aren't giving them up because they're going to get fired over this.
They'll definitely get fired for this.
And
we have
potentially worse than that. But I think Tim is on.
Oh yeah, you'll get sued in the ground. You're not coming back up from that.
I think Tim is onto something. If they would have just like, for instance, I'm in the camp that, and this is kind of where I have to push back on this news.
Sure.
After just announcing you're a $3 trillion company, and all of the record second quarter numbers everywhere. I understand hardware is down, but there was no need to rush to get this done. Give your exclusives a chance to breathe. It's very unfortunate. Hey, Parris Lilly, what's going on, brother? How you feeling? Kind sir.
I like how you're still looking around.
How you doing, Parris?
Okay?
Welcome, brother. We can hear you.
Yes.
Okay,
we
good.
can hear you. Yeah, you're good, Parris.
Yeah.
No, it's funny because Dave and I have been talking privately, and I was like, I'm taking a break. I'm not going to be coming on the show for a while.
Yeah. Did say that.
But obviously, and Tim, you and I talked the other day too.
Thank you for that.
It's obviously, I've heard what you just said, that clearly it sounds like somebody that does not want this to happen has been trying to leak this information out. It's interesting. And I wasn't going to say anything. I've just been paying attention, talking to people privately. But people started pulling up things that I had been saying in like 2020, 2021 when they originally acquired Bethesda. Because what have I always said? You don't spend $7.5 billion to keep things the same. Right? And what did they say? They said that. Here's the hilarious part. I am even on record in an Xbox showcase saying that Starfield is exclusive. I've off my own lips. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, obviously I've believed in what the strategy has been. And I've been championing it and talking about Game Pass and all the services and, gaming everywhere on the PC and the cloud and all these things. Right. Because I agree with it. I think it's great. My issue is, and again, look, Tim, you know more than I do because I have zero sources. I never want to know anything.
You know your stuff, but
I know nothing. Trust me with this. I know nothing. Absolutely nothing. But this may very well be happening. It may not. I don't know. I'm still treating it. Yeah. So let's just go under the assumption that it is happening for the purpose of this conversation. I think you guys already said it, that it was like, it almost seems like you didn't give the plan a chance.
Yes.
We're doing this mid-generation. I could see we went through this whole Series X generation, and at the end, they realized, you know what? Maybe as we go into the next one, let's start putting some of our major titles on the competitor's platform, because, you know, I was even catching heat a couple weeks ago because I'm like, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, not that big of a deal.
Right.
Older games, whatever. They're not going to put Starfield and Halo and Gears and all this.
They'll never do that. That's crazy.
So, and I even said it then. I go, if that's the case, just go complete third party. Why are you making hardware?
Right.
Exactly.
But I will say this, and we'll obviously see how this plays out.
Okay.
I feel like, because Satya Nadella himself even said one of his big regrets was getting out of Windows Phone and not having a hand on the wheel. I feel like even in this scenario, they're still going to want to have their own hardware so they have a hand on the wheel, so they can kind of drive where the technology is going and performance and pricing and all those kind of things. Excuse me. But to the point that you guys have already said, now this, because my other thing was, look, Twitter rumors, whatever, you don't need to respond to that stuff. But you know, because matter of fact, Brad Sams already has a video out.
Yeah,
right.
We all know tomorrow morning, IGN, GameSpot, The Verge, Engadget, MSNBC, Yahoo Finance, Windows Central, because we know Jez is going to write a novel.
The Wall Street Journal,
New York Times. The media is now going to start talking about this.
Yeah.
So you have to respond. You have to respond to this.
Agreed.
Excuse me.
100%.
I wasn't even going to be on XCast this week because I'm doing something middle week. Mike literally messaged me right before I came on. He was like, homie, we got to figure out time. We got to be able to do this because we got to talk about it. We have to. This is very disruptive to this industry if they're going. And again, we need the full plan. I need to understand how it's going to work. Are we talking day and date with the stuff? Are we talking a year later, 6 months later? I mean, like there's the Indiana Jones thing. It sounds like they're considering it, not that they're 100% doing it, but let's just say they are. Okay. You now took a major reason why I would get an Xbox this year in 2024 if I don't own one. If you're telling me a few months later I can go get it on the PlayStation. Why? So to me, whatever, and this has to be Phil Spencer. This cannot be Sarah Bond. This cannot be Matt Booty. This cannot be Aaron Greenberg. This cannot be Tim Stewart, unless it's Satya himself.
Yeah.
You have to come out and be clear and concise about this is what we're doing. This is what it looks like, whether we like it or not. But you need to let us know as a consumer, especially why should I own Xbox hardware moving forward? Tell me why I should own it today. And tell me why I should own it 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now. I need to know that. In other words, get completely out of the hardware business. I will just go get a PlayStation and a Switch and a PC. So I don't know, man. I like I said, this is all rumor stuff. I've tried my hardest to not comment on this and speculate about it. I'm like, we'll just wait till they come out and say what it is. But this, look, I know you and I, Tim, were talking privately. I was talking with some other people privately, but I fully admit, when I saw Tom Warren say it, I go, uh-oh. Here we go.
That's what did it for me too.
Yeah.
I love Xbox era, but I worked in the media for 19 years. I know, like, when Xbox era put out their thing, Verge rushed to hit publish because they knew that other guys knew the same stuff that they did.
Yeah.
That's why I believe this. Like,
Parris,
with 19 years of media experience, this tells me this is true.
Yeah.
Parris, I got a question for you. And by all means, please push back, because this is my thought. And here, of course, as an Xbox fan,
Push back.
We're disappointed, right? Like, we are, because I was saying in the beginning, Parris, before you got here, there's something special. There's a special shine to an IP that's available on a box, whatever the box that is, right? And like I said earlier, Nintendo and Sony use this to great success, which is why people buy their consoles and stay invested in their ecosystem. When I look at this particular move, like now there's some question, is there going to be hardware? I think there is, because, and I've said this for years, Parris, that the exclusive for Xbox is Game Pass. You're getting these games day and date on a service that I pay for monthly. and you don't have that service on PlayStation, yes, you're going to have the games there. And I'm not making excuses, and I'm not submitting. I'm just as disappointed as everyone else. But I think that what you said earlier is very important. We need to know what the plan is. Are these 6 months or a year, exclusives to this particular platform? And I think that is really going to matter of whether or not people decide to invest in a new Xbox. I'm buying the new Xbox. And if it's a handheld like I want, it's, the rumored dockable thing,
Right.
I'm coming home because I'll be able to take it with me on the go and still dock it, and it's going to have power. It's great. But I think that they need to kind of let us know. And do you think that this, because I know there was some talk on Friday, Paris, that Sarah Bond was going to come out and say something in the spring, and obviously they got poo-pooed. Obviously, it's DEFCON 5 at Redmond right now. Like the papers flying up in the air as people.
Oh, there'll be a meeting at 8 a.m. tomorrow, guaranteed. Yeah. If it's not happening already.
Yeah, it might be an all-nighter.
Do you think the allure or the speciality of Xbox Game Pass is still ever present?
Good question,
Iris.
Here's my thought on that. I don't, because Phil has said this himself. Game Pass subs have somewhat stagnated on the console, right? So that's why they were exploring mobile and on PC and things like that. If now you're telling me I can pick and choose what quote unquote Xbox games that I would want to play on PlayStation, because now let's just take the Doomsday scenario. That's how I'm looking at it. Right. I want to put. I got a PlayStation 5 right now. I was thinking about getting an Xbox because I wanted to play Fable and Indiana Jones and Perfect Dark and all that. Now come out and say, don't worry, those games will be on the PlayStation. Well, guess what? I'll play Uncharted and God of War and Horizon and all that and wait until those games eventually come to the PlayStation platform. So why am I subscribing to Game Pass? There's no need at that point. I personally feel like if you're taking, because my argument had always been Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, Grounded, older games, whatever. But if you now take the games that are the reason I want to invest in Xbox, I can just play them on the platform I already got. Then what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Only to push back a little bit on that, Paris, but I think for a lot of gamers, it probably just comes back down to affordability. Because even if they come a year later, that's probably still going to be a $70 game on PlayStation, I'd imagine.
Here's my pushback to your pushback.
Maybe.
my pushback to your pushback is, why hasn't that already been the case then? Look, we get it. Look, I'm cheapskate. You're darn right I got Game Pass.
Right. I'm cheap, so I'm always going to go with the cheapest way in.
What we're finding out, the majority of people are not investing in it the way that we are.
Yeah,
you see?
True.
So that would be my pushback. If I hadn't already invested in Game Pass, what's my incentive now to invest into it? Because now I got to go buy more hard. Now I got to go buy an Xbox to get it when I wasn't already doing it. And you telling me those games are coming to me where I'm at anyways.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. Game Pass, in my personal opinion, is not enough to say, well, I'm still going to go buy an Xbox when I already have a PC or I already have a PlayStation.
No. Yeah, I don't argue that at all. I'm just talking about staying in the Game Pass ecosystem, because now it's an ecosystem. Now it's different. Now it might be Keystone. Now it might be a handheld in the future. Like, I don't know. For me, and I could be the 1% where everyone else is just doing their own thing. I still think the value is there because it saves me money and I can do it anywhere. Right. And that's a great deal for someone like me. But on the console side, I definitely understand your argument. I think that holds a lot of water, and I don't disagree with you on that one.
So and let's take it in, because I'm looking at a chat, so I see some familiar faces in here. People that I've literally met like at FanFest in LA, things like that.
Right.
And that just made me think, what the hell is that going to be in June?
Yeah.
Again, we're going under the assumption all of this is true.
Right.
That is going to be the most awkward fan fest of all time.
Yeah.
It just is. And
Tim, you said you weren't going to any shows anymore, right? Earlier?
No, I might go to Jeff's show, Jeff TV, but I'm serious.
I love you.
Yeah,
I know
But,
you.
cool.
I will leave on the day that Xbox does their show. They'll be having a plane to New York. But to a point where Game Pass. Listen, I'm going to be honest. Game Pass is tremendous. I have Game Pass and I have the rewards where it automatically takes like 10,000 or 11,000 points a month away, and I get another month. So basically, all I have to do is buy 2 third-party games, and I'm set. And I have all the Game Pass, and I still get the 2 third parties. So I think Game Pass. What I do think they're going to do. These are the couple of things that they're going to move forward with. Going all digital. You might be able to buy Starfield digitally because maybe Sony will foot the thing, or physically. Xbox is going to get away from digitally. They're going to do it. They're going to be very quick on that. That might be over with. Also, ads on Game Pass. That's coming. I think they're going to go full bore at this.
We did hear about that.
Like Parris said, they have hit a ceiling. Now they're going to have an ability to listen. If they have bad optics as it is, why not just say, hey, the barrier of entry, which I went to a thing where there was a lot of Xbox people talking about this. The barrier of entry was mentioned a lot, and the ads with Game Pass, where it won't affect your game, where it'll probably start
like a pre-roll or something.
Yeah, pre-roll, or stuff like what maybe the end of a chapter of a game, like if you're playing Yakuza, you get like 5 minutes of commercials, like something like whatever Peacock does, or that's going to be implemented. They're going to go full blown. They're going to be the first to use AI. You're going to see community managers that are AI on Twitter, and they're going to be handled by one person. They're going full bore at this. So I understand all of that. I think what Parris said also made so much sense to me is doing this in mid-cycle, not giving it a chance. If they did this at the end of the cycle and said, "Hey, we're going to go third party. We tried it," I would be much more open to it and be okay. But to not give it a chance is just too much for me to take. But as far as the shows, I would meet up with you guys. I'm not gonna go to Xbox's show. I'll watch it, maybe comment on it, but I do think that the community is going to take a hit here, but it'll still be going, and I don't say anybody should hate Xbox or anything stupid like that. And like I said on Twitter, I'm not going to become writing nasty things to Phil or be stupid or writing mean things about Xbox. I generally have love for Xbox. It's just that I can't support them in what they've done and what they said, and I can't support them right now with the direction they're going.
Hey,
that's fine.
One thing I wanted to throw. Sorry, Tim. I'm going to interrupt you. And Parris, I'll get to you in just a second. I know you got a point. I just want to welcome out the over 850 people in the chat right now. Thank you all. I know.
Tim, you did say that, Tim.
Tim said we'll go bring the heat tonight, and there you go. So anyway, and if everybody can, please hit the like button. Greatly appreciate that, or dislike if you don't like Retri's haircut. But I'm sorry, I always do that.
Oh, natural, baby.
Yeah, and we've got some bunch of super chats. We are going to get those in a few minutes. We want to get the Parris's points. We want Mr. Boomstick's point, and then of course Hargeet. Welcome, Hargeet has joined us as well. A few other people have wanted to jump in the chat. I don't really want to bring in too many more because I don't want to have such a big audience that we can't get everybody get their bars off. But I really enjoy it, or hope you're going to enjoy it.
I think it's going to be the last time we're talking about this, Dave. I think we're going to be talking about this in the future as well. So
I know.
Yeah,
I
have
so much
big
respect
news.
for everybody here. Yes, it is. Go ahead, Boom.
No. I mean, look. You know what? I want to let Parris go. Parris, you said you got something you want to.
Oh, my stuff is just super quick because I was going to say before Tim started talking. Another aspect why I think they're going to have to address this sooner rather than later, probably this week, is next week or the week after is DICE. And me and Danny were even talking about this before. Like I went last year. Guess who I'm standing in line with? Todd Howard, as an example, right? There's other Xbox people that were there, like Chris Charlie was there doing some sessions. So I know there's going to be Xbox people at DICE. Like I'm pretty sure Starfield got nominated for awards. So probably Todd Howard's going to be there again, or at least some Bethesda representation. These questions are going to be asked. So no comments not going to be good enough in this point. I don't know is not going to be good enough at that point. You need to get out in front of this ahead of that. Because if you remember the FTC thing, what was one of Pete Hines' complaints? That Todd got ambushed because he got thrown some questions about whatever with Bethesda, and he hadn't been prepped on it by PR ahead of time. So he's like, what are we doing here? They can't, they're not going to make that mistake.
The issue there, Paris, was that they had talked about ABK.
Yeah.
Phil had said Call of Duty is going to be multi-plat. ABK is going to be multi-plat, except we're talking about Bethesda games and they're not multi-plat. What's the issue? Right. One or the other, right? So why?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then the other point I wanted to make was just on what Tim was saying. So I'm going to take this from my standpoint and just getting to know Tim over the years by saying this. I 100% get what you're saying, Tim. This is obviously a very heightened time right now with this news. I'm sure it's very shocking to a lot of loyal Xbox fans and community people right now. So I've seen some wild takes online already about this. And just like yourself, Tim, I'm a fan of Xbox. Xbox is why I'm here in the first place, because they've always been so friendly with the community, and they've always been like being able to talk to the very top person in the company on down. They don't treat you like you've been an afterthought. That's been one of the great things about the Xbox community. Obviously, the fan fest, all the things that they do. I just personally hope people like yourself don't get run away because of stuff like this. You see what I'm saying? Whereas part of when I go to a summer game fest or these Xbox Fan Fest E3 and all that is when I get to see people like yourself or Colt or you, like Hargeet. I got to meet you last year. It's like, I don't want to lose that, because the truth of the matter is PlayStation ain't doing this. No, Nintendo's not doing this. So from a fan standpoint, I just hope they don't go so ice cold with this to where we're just about making money. We're no longer listening to what the fans are telling us, right? Because go back a few years ago. Remember when they tried to charge us $120 for Xbox Live, and people immediately was like, no. And they rolled it back because they listened.
Fastest turnaround ever.
Yeah. I hope. I just hope. I just want to say one last thing. I just hope they're going to do this in some form, but I hope they at least are listening to what people are saying here on a Saturday and on a Sunday, and obviously what's going to roll into Monday, and they revise it somewhat, at least, because again, part of, like, I know a lot of people get mad at me because I just think very logically, and I just say, hey, here's what I think is happening, but people don't want to hear that because they get passionate. But the truth of the matter is, the console market is what is Xbox. Sure, they want to get mobile. Sure, they want to get PC. Sure, they're looking at cloud and all that stuff. They want to get the people outside that same 200 million that pick up a console every year. I 100% get that. But you can't treat those 200 million people like an afterthought. So I hope
Phil said that. He said that the console matters.
Yeah, exactly. So, but see, that's part of what I'm also saying, because again, people trying to pull receipts on me right now. They're obviously pulling them on Phil, because I'm listening to what the leadership has been telling us over the past few years. And I'm going, well, logically, here's what they're trying to do. Of course, they're going to keep some games exclusive, because that's going to get you to go buy the hardware. And if that's no longer the case, then what's the hell? What are we doing? So they got to clarify all this stuff.
Very true.
That's a great question. What I was saying earlier, Paris, before you and Tim got here, is where's the line? Yeah, because now we don't know. You know, because so we heard Indiana Jones and heard Starfield. Okay, goes to Bethesda. That's
Hellblade 2 now.
Right. And Hellblade 2 is another one, which is
that rumor.
A bit of a head scratcher for me. But is Halo next? Is Gears? Is Forza? You know, because
don't expect that there's anything that isn't like sacrifice. Like, if Sea of Thieves is going over, forget it. It's all of it. Just expect and accept. It's all of it.
A lot of people did say that before this got crazy. They said, "Well, Sea of Thieves is the games as a service. Why are we just ignoring the other ones like they don't exist? Like they would never do that, right?" So it's like now it's an open book. Now things have changed.
I think, and I agree with everything that you're saying, but I, maybe being naive, just assumed something like, because I've seen the rumblings about Halo.
Too, Paris.
Halo is your identity. There is no Xbox right now without Halo. That is your flagship. That is the game that you identify Xbox with. And if that is now showing up on your number one competitor's platform, you've lost your identity.
I would have lost all the money in the world. I would have bet against that. I would have right there with you, Parris. I would have lost all my money.
To me, just, and this is off the top of my head, Untouchables should be Halo, Gears, Fable, Forza. Perfect Dark is coming into the picture, right? We got like this Clockwork Revolution, that these new IPs that they're coming out. South of Midnight. These games should live in the Xbox ecosystem and nowhere else, because those are going to be the games that get you to invest in the Xbox ecosystem. If those games now show up on PlayStation, why am I buying an Xbox? That's when I'm going to come back. Like something like Psychonauts 2, Psychonauts 2, Banjo. Hey, those show up, whatever. Not a big deal to me. But those are like your
to begin with, right? So it doesn't even matter. It started
right.
And if that, I think it didn't come to Nintendo because it wasn't going to perform well enough, right? So they can bring it to. I don't care because it came to everything anyway.
Once you put your hands in the cookie jar, though, it just comes to a point where they say, let's do Halo, and it's just going to make sense to make Halo.
But see, I could even make an argument for, because people may or may not have been DMing me this, a game like Doom staying multi-plat, right? Because it's always has been. Fallout staying multi-plat. It always has been. Elder Scrolls, fine. They always were. I can understand the logic behind that. But when you're creating new IPs, new experiences, or the legacy IPs that were already exclusive, that's when it's like, ugh, what are we doing here? So I don't know, man. They got to come out.
But I don't think. But I just think they're going to mess up that messaging too. I think I have no faith in them at this point. They're going to screw the messaging up, and when the messaging does calm down, we're all going to be here again saying, "What the hell are they doing?"
Well, you guys are welcome to come back here, just so you know, all of you. We'll have a repeat.
We're going to be doing this again.
You know what? You probably have 1,000 people again, because people are outraged. People are pissed off. And they're not going to get the answers that they want to. They want to hear, oh, this is just a one-time thing. But they're obviously going in that direction. In my opinion, if you had to do this, maybe try the ads on Game Pass first. Maybe be a little creative. This is like the last barrier of you go to. This is the last. This is the last critical attempt that you do. You don't do it the way they're doing it right now. They got spooked, like I said, by the hardware in the last 3 quarters. $349, nobody cares. Xbox One selling better than it. Those are realistic things that happened and scared them. I get it, and you know what? You can pivot from that. But to do this, I just think it's too reactionary, and they're too worried about return on investment right away on Activision. You just should have let it breathe for a year, looked at the numbers then, looked at the analytics then, and then also prep this a lot differently than leaking it out the way they did or having this go on the way they did. Because, like I said, if this was a thing that they just dropped on us, we might be all thinking differently. This has been building up since Tim Stewart's comments. Since Nate's article or whatever, Nate's thing, and people are riled up right now. And you know what? We're at where it's at. And I want to just address one thing. I'll always be cool to the people. Who knows? Right now, maybe I do go to E3 and it's a different ball game. But I won't do the things that I won't do. I won't be an influencer for them, because at my point, at this point, they don't deserve it. They don't deserve that type of influence for me, because I just think that they can't be trusted. They say things and they do the opposite. And when you do that, it's like, how do you trust that? What's next? They're going to say, they do all this and they do something different. It's like, it's a precarious situation to be in, but here we are. And I've got thousands of DMs, texts, like people like, what's going on? And you know what? It's not my place to be that. They should be handling it, and they should hopefully get this situated by Monday. I doubt it. I predict another PR nightmare, and they'll say something stupid, or they'll offend somebody somewhere because they don't know what
I
they're
love
doing.
you, Tim.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, Paul
Does not
Tassi
hold back.
tweeted, and this is interesting, gentlemen. He goes,
Go
"This is
ahead.
the most embarrassing shit I've ever seen."
That's
And people came at him. He goes, "Nope, I stand by this. If you're Microsoft, it shows you have no faith in the Xbox ecosystem, goes counter to all Game Pass claims, throws your fan base into chaos with no public comment. It's just waving the white flag. It's shooting them out with the T-shirt cannon."
Yeah. Just want to say welcome out to the over 990 people that are now in the chat. Thank you so much for watching us live. Oh my goodness, this is good for a little show like us. We really appreciate it. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Now to have your attention. So please hit that.
Share it out, guys. Share it out.
Almost
Jeff?
1,000.
I might leave for a second. Let's see if I can get Jeff to come, at least in the chat.
Sure. That would be great. And again, thank you all for being here. RHETRI, if you don't mind, let's plow through. We have a couple of super chats. Let's just get through them real quick, and then that way, and we do appreciate your super chats. Don't get me wrong. I just want to make sure we give them some merit real quick, and then we're gonna jump to Hargeet real quick and get his opinion on a few things, and then we're gonna go back around the horn. And this is open discussions. Anybody wants to jump in, guys, on the panel, you just jump
tonight.
in. And we did just hit 1,000 people live in chat, by the way.
That's great.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations. That is amazing.
Thank you all very much.
Sorry it had to happen with what is going on, but it is what it is. JFX88 with the $5 says, if they go full third party, what about my achievements? Yep. They didn't give Xbox a chance to promo with Call of Duty for this upcoming holiday. Yeah. David with the $5 says, by doing this, Microsoft is effectively pigeonholing themselves by giving the PlayStation Apple iOS type power with digital storefronts coming. Yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms right there with the whole iOS thing. And WebDave gifting memberships to the Gamers Council. So appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much. That blue number, what's up, girl? $5 super chat says, "Hey y'all, in my opinion, this puts Game Pass in jeopardy as well." And a lot of people have said that sentiment. Maybe that's another discussion for another day, or we can go on to that later. Mike with the $5 says, people are assuming Sony will allow Game Pass to compete with PS Plus on their console. This move will kill Game Pass too. Maverick says with the $10 super chat, the thing that worries me as well is that they will start to favor the PlayStation consoles with their first party games, since they're the majority and the games will be more optimized over the Xbox. That's not a bad point, Maverick. That's not a bad point, dude. We've seen it happen already. So Spartan661 with the $2 says, WebDave and RHETRI, thank you for what you do. Thank you, man, for chilling out with us tonight.
Appreciate
Absolutely.
you.
JFX, the $5 says, this is a joke. Everyone dropped Game Pass. I like this. Everyone dropped Game Pass for the month of March and have them reverse their decisions in 24 hours like they did the Xbox Live thing. Speak with your money. Speak with your wallet, right? That's it's not the worst idea I've ever heard. I kind of like that. I'm not going to do it, but because I'm a shill. John Blue with it's just $5. Thank you. Appreciate that, man.
Thanks, buddy. We appreciate that.
Yeah. Mr. BL, great name. Mr. BLTs with the $5 says, why is everyone going crazy over speculation and rumors? Normally, and I agree with you, BLT, it was just why I did not actually say anything on Twitter for days. I've been shutting my mouth, but I trust the sources. Sources, to be honest with you. So Persian Knight with the $5 says, is this why Halo has moved to Unreal Engine 5 for future iterations? Maybe. Warwana with the $2 says, who is gonna get the first who's gonna get the first Halo Platinum trophy? I love that you guys are joking with this stuff, at least. The Longhouse, what's going on? Black Viking with the $20 says, the only way this makes sense is if all these Xbox first party titles are timed and you use the 70% you get from the competitors to lock down huge third-party titles similar to Sony. Otherwise, I'm going to PC and being a pirate. Arrgh, that's right. Arrgh. Absolutely.
From a Viking to a pirate. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Man.
All right, so we're going to hold off on super chats for a little while longer. If some of you have one, you drop it for sure, but we may get to it in a little bit. Over 1,000 and 10 people in the chat. Thank you all so much for
thank
being
you guys
here.
for
We
coming
greatly
on tonight.
appreciate
Hargeet, I'm going to
you.
send you the link in the morning. Hopefully you can join us as well. I can't wait to hear what you have to say now, though.
Hargeet,
Well,
cuck him, Hargeet.
The fun, right?
Get 'em,
So
boy.
I was throwing out the warnings. If they do 2 of them, it's not going to be 2 of them. It's going to be the whole bloody slate at some point, and that's exactly where there seems to be going, right? It's and no, there's games that would never look. If this is coming from high on up, there's nothing they can do. It's gonna happen, right? Sure. Ultimately, you have to look at Microsoft as a company. This is their direction. They don't want to care about what hardware you're on, what platform you're on. They want to sell software. But that isn't how gaming works. Unfortunately, they had like that part of it is just like slipping through the cracks here. Like, a platform matters, and the problem with that, I think, Parris, you were kind of mentioning like the going to the showcase, right? Why does that happen? Enthusiasm. People care about a platform. They just do, right? People care about freaking Chevy versus Ford. Why? People pick Giants over whatever. There's a reason it happens. There's a reason it happens, right?
Apple versus
and
Android.
if you just suddenly say it doesn't matter, right? Then, well, the enthusiasm kind of falls with it. When that happens, you will get a plateau and then a fall off of Game Pass. The plateau will happen because people have subscribed for years, right? But that will stop, and then they will just not renew. And you have to look at where that's going to be for them, and they have to do the calculus. I'm sure they're doing that calculus. What does it matter for them, right? Is Game Pass something they want, or they're seeing this is just not working and let it die, right? That is an option. Maybe they're just saying, yeah, whatever. So they're the white flags being waved. Yeah, this is what it sounds like, right? And this gen, yeah, it'll probably get to about 35, 40 million consoles because, well, this is another rumor, right? We're hearing the 2026 thing is bunked because apparently they didn't sign contracts yet. It might be
the AMD thing? Yeah.
Further out than PS6. So yet another fumble. But anyway, if that's the case, maybe it gets to 50, 60 million consoles again, right? This generation may get to that level. The next generation, though, if you're saying everything's going everywhere, why does anybody need to buy one of these, right? You'd have to be so incredibly compelling in comparison to your competition, but that's just not going to happen. And that's kind of the problem, right? So if it did come in 2026, you could have the compelling argument of saying, well, Call of Duty is going to run better on our hardware only because it's next gen, right? Not because we're trying to hamper the PS5 or the Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever, whatever they call it. But just we're on the next gen hardware. It's going to be better here, right? So when you market the game, you're going to market it on your console anyway, but it'll look better, right? And maybe that thing that Jim Ryan was saying, that this is going to be a huge problem for them and they could never recover. Maybe that does happen, but that's not happening. Apparently now it's going to be after the PS6. Look, if you continue down this pattern, you basically mean you're looking for enthusiasts who might care about your console. You might get 10 million, 15 million, maybe 20 million people to buy it. At that point, third parties are going to say, why do I need to be on here? Why am I going to waste my time playing or get my games?
Which a lot of people said on Twitter, which is definitely a real concern. It's one of the things that made, I try to play devil's advocate. That's one of the points that people brought up that made the most amount of sense to me. Once you dilute the value of the console and less people come and you're having issues trying to get Japanese and Eastern games over there, it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse, right?
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead, Parrot.
Go ahead, Parris.
Hargeet.
No. You mentioned Japan, but that's why all this is so surprising to a lot of people. They've re-emphasized the importance of Japan. They literally just hired someone. It's their job to get more Japanese titles on their
PlayStation, right?
Right, from PlayStation, who's got years of experience doing it. Yeah.
So like, because I don't know if Tim's still here or not, but it's like, look, I'm not questioning what anybody's been told and that, because again, I don't know nothing. I'm just looking at this from the outside in.
Sure.
I just feel like there's got to be something else to this other than what we're just hearing. I just feel like there has to be, because it doesn't make sense at this juncture. You just finished acquiring Activision. You've not even completely integrated them into your ecosystem yet. And then you're going to start announcing this. It just, I don't know. Something about it just
doesn't feel right. I agree with you, Paris. Go ahead.
Worse is that like all those acquisitions 2018 onwards, it's finally bearing fruit. We're finally getting the
That's
game.
my point.
Waited
That's my
5
point.
years.
We're finally getting the games. And if you see the reveals, people are clamoring for those games on the other platforms, right?
Yes.
They're like,
Yes.
wait, I want to play this on my PS5. Good, go get an Xbox, right? They finally have something compelling to bring people to the ecosystem, and they say, don't worry about it. You can just have it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
What I suspect, to be honest, there was an email that Phil got during the court, and they wrote, and it was written by somebody. I think his name was in the team, about a moat, building a moat around like with studios that they can't sustain, and it was a money thing. What I suspect happened here, or why there's such prompt, movement, is obviously the money hit. That money was taken out of their accounts, and now there's 66, or you could say 75 billion or 80 billion that's due. The rent is due. And they looked at this and they said, hey, we need to get money. We need it right now. They got spooked by the hardware. GameSpot, Game Pass, and the making games and how much it's costing, and to get all these third party, they've had an incredible amount of games. That's cost money. I think they're at the point where Game Pass is teetering on being unsustainable, or they're really hitting a hard line financially, where they could just say, hey, if we go third party, just let me make this argument and really look at it and say, okay, can it go? If we go day and date, because that's eventually what's going to happen. It's going to eventually morph to that. Day and date with all these games. Game Pass is sustainable because PlayStation now, those guys are buying at $70 a pop.
Yeah.
We're making a ton of money. That model works versus what they have now, where and obviously they're going to implement the ads and the digital stuff. They want to have a platform, or they want to have a model where it's making money and making money fast back. They don't want. They want 3 billion. They need 3 billion in revenue or profits. They need the money. They need it now, and this is the prompt move of this. And basically, they're just going for it all. This is going for the gusto, and you could actually argue that it's a smart move. I mean, I could say it's a smart move.
I've said all this, right? I give them an out, right, Tim? There's a full out. If you want to go full third party, you now take away the problem of monopolization, right? Because you're not causing any downward
There's no regulatory problem.
You're officially Tencent.
Exactly. Yeah. You could go and say, I'm going to buy Take-Two. I'm going to go buy Ubisoft. I'm going to go buy Embracer. I'm going to go buy Square. I'm going to buy Sega.
And they will.
You don't even hit 15%, right? You could buy WB. You could buy EA, and it still wouldn't hit 15%. 1.5, not 50. 1.5%. Go ahead, but you have to say everything everywhere. Every subscription is open. Every cloud streaming is open. Every platform is open. Go ahead, go buy whatever you want.
And that's what I had.
Yeah,
Paris,
tag Paris, you're in.
And then I'll roll back to where I was before. But go ahead.
Yeah, and this may not be a popular take with people that are watching, but my stance on it is this: I'm more concerned about, are you going to continue to deliver hardware past this generation and beyond? And here's my reason why. Again, shameless plug. When Phil was on with us last year talking about this stuff, the thing that he mentioned was them losing the start of the digital ecosystem in the previous generation to PlayStation, right? Yeah. So you now have people, especially since you've been pushing Game Pass, you want people to subscribe to Game Pass, and there's different tiers of Game Pass. Let's not forget, there's a tier of Game Pass that you can only access on the console. So you have people subscribing to Game Pass. You have people purchasing digital licenses for these games. We already know they're going to go all digital. The writing is on the wall. So physical copies are going away. So what about the person that has invested hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars into your ecosystem that's all digital. You've already promoted how backwards compatibility is a big thing. No one gets left behind, all this stuff. We go past the Series X generation into the next one. So there's a PlayStation 6 and a Switch 2, but we don't have another Xbox. What about all those people that have those games? Now they're stuck on old hardware with no way to upgrade.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? So
no, absolutely. Someone in chat said that earlier.
Yeah.
Like, is it going to stay, Paris, in the cloud ecosystem so you don't get screwed like what you're suggesting?
But to that point, now you're telling me again, console gamer. For PC, I can see them being able to do something on that side, right? But
sure.
I'm a console gamer. I don't spend $3,000 on a PC. I'd buy the $500 console.
Yeah,
now I got to go buy a $500 PlayStation 6. Those licenses are not transferring over to PlayStation.
Yeah,
they're not. So I now lose those games, or I got to stick with my old Series S or X. And again, I'm talking doomsday here. They don't make hardware anymore, so they don't make a Series X or an S anymore. I'm screwed. That's how I look at it. And this is where I'm saying they need to be definitive about what this means and what it means for the future as far as them making hardware. Because again, I think the play here may be, especially coming from the top, from a Satya level, is Microsoft is a software company, they're not a hardware company. Yep. Satya shifted the focus when he came in to say, we're putting our services and software everywhere. So that very well may be the play here with gaming, but we will still make hardware. They make Surface laptops. They make PC. They make peripherals for anything. But the focus is we're trying to get our software and our cloud subscriptions and all that on as many platforms as we possibly can. So that very well may be what's happening here. And it's not the wrong play from a business standpoint, from a return on investment standpoint. But give me assurances that you will keep a hand on the wheel for gaming hardware, for consoles. I will continue to have an Xbox that I can put under my television this coming generation and the one afterward and the one after that. So that if I am investing into your digital ecosystem, I'm not losing anything. That's what I want to hear them at least say. Whether you believe it or not is up to you individually, but this is what they need to be talking about, because them just, we're done with hardware and we're just going to put it on the competitors' platforms. That is a huge slap in the face to everyone that has been committed to Xbox over the past, 22 years. So we'll see.
So now rolling it back to why I was concerned about the hardware sales, right? So Nintendo was the massive dominant player for a decade and a half, right? They had the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, and they were pretty dominant. Going into the next one with the N64, PlayStation came along. The N64 was a very good piece of hardware. It was very, very powerful. However, it didn't matter. Sony went and got all the games. They went and made deals with everybody, got the games on their side. Nintendo ended up selling 34-ish million consoles, and it flopped. For the first time in their history, it flopped. If 34 million wasn't enough to attract third parties, what happens if you're at 15?
All right.
Is that going to go anywhere? Right? And that's the problem, right? So if you don't eclipse a certain number, it's going to be a problem for third parties to say it's worth it for me to port
that platform if there's not enough,
right?
Not enough,
and that's Nintendo. It was Nintendo, and for those who are too young, you don't understand. Nintendo was gaming for a long time. It was gaming. I have my Nintendo. That it was gaming. It was so bloody dominant, right? And it died. It died. The way they sustained themselves was they had the portable. That was it. They had the Game Boy, they had the Game Boy Advance, they had the Nintendo DS. That's how they survived. Sony destroyed them. They destroyed them. And Sega had to get out. Right? So you have to look at that and say, okay, if you're not able to make any level of traction, if you're taking away your exclusives, there's just zero reason. Like the US, yes, they have a market. Outside the US, they don't. And if you're gonna say there's no reason to come here, you already bought a PlayStation or Nintendo, you're good. Why would you care? Why would you go buy another console? If they want to make the claim, they finally have a reason with games that people want. You keep it there. If you just tell them outright, hey, this is going to come to another platform in 2 years, don't worry about it, or 1 year, don't worry about it, they're not going to buy the freaking console.
Yeah.
And unless you give them a reason to get back to that 80 million, that it was about 80, 84, whatever that they sold for the 360 gen, why would they bother coming to you, right? If you want to, to get to that level, you need games. That's what you need. You need a whole bunch of games. You need to have like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 exclusives that people want to buy, want to play, to come to your platform. And they're kind of on the cusp of that. But then they just decide to.
But that's why this doesn't make sense. Because to your very point, you're finally at what Matt Booty's talked about it. Phil's talked about it. We want to get to the point where we have a major release every quarter. They're right on the cusp of being able to do that. So you get to that point, and then you don't even see if it works. That doesn't make sense to me. That's why maybe I'm just being hopefully naive. Right?
Look,
there has to be another play to this. It can't just be as simple as what we've seen so far.
Like
I've been saying they're going to go third party, right? But it's because of market drivers. The console is diminishing because mobile is taking off, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a potential that kids that play on mobile will eventually flip and go to console. That might be a thing. But it looks like it's more the other way around, right? We're starting to get those AAA games on mobile.
Yeah,
that's kind of the direction it's going, right? So PC and mobile are the ones that are kind of taking off. Console's been kind of stagnant, right? And it might just diminish as the people who came up with the consoles, kind of age out. It's just a reality to it. That might be 15, 20, 30 years from now, but it's going to happen. It's going to kind of diminish. And I'm sure if you're looking at where things are going, you're saying, I got to invest in the other areas. That's fair. But for now, the enthusiasm is based on console.
I will be surprised. I will be surprised if tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern time, there's at least there's going to be something on Xbox Wire. It may not be the explanation, but it's going to be some kind of acknowledgement of what's going on. Because again, IGN and everyone's there's going to be 1,000 articles tomorrow morning about this.
Yeah.
Now look, as I said, there is the out, but it's a long play, right? If you say, look, I want to be able to go third party so I can buy all these publishers and have all this content. Because look, if you market the next Hogwarts Legacy, right? Just like it was with Hogwarts Legacy, the first one, PlayStation marketed that game. People just thought it was an exclusive to PlayStation, even though it was literally everywhere.
True.
It was literally everywhere, right?
Yep.
People just thought it was a PlayStation game.
The
next was marketed by Xbox. The next Call of Duty, the next GTA, you just keep thinking about every one of those games, right? The next Assassin's Creed, the next, Final Fantasy. Even though it's literally everywhere, it will just have that association. That's how you can still keep your platform, right? But that is a very long play, right? It took 2 years to do ABK. It's going to take similar amounts of time to get all that done. So yes, you can go there. It's small chunks at a time. You have to get to that level. Mid next gen is when you kind of start doing that kind of thing. Not now. Right now, you need to bring people to your ecosystem. I just don't see the
crazy to be doing it now. You're right. No, you're right. And I didn't mean to interrupt. Just once, 1,100 people in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. This is awesome. Stick around. We are not done yet. Mr. Boomstick has about 20 more minutes.
Actually, Dave, if it's okay, brother, I'm going to bounce out a little bit early because obviously everyone is already. I've already kind of said everything I really can say at this point.
You want to say anything else? Or are you ready to go now?
No. I mean, listen. Obviously, look. At the end of the day, I know there's a lot of people kind of push back. And I'm looking on social media, and there's people like, "Oh no, this can't be true." Look, I get it. It's not official. I understand that something's happening. I believe Tom Henderson. I believe Jez Corden. I believe Paul Tassi. I believe Tom Warren. These are people that journalists that I look towards, that I think are at the tip of the spear when it comes to journalism, at least gaming journalism.
Mm-hmm.
So again, yes, it's a rumor. Yes, there's no official word from Redmond. We, like Parris just said, we need an official clarification. I think there's probably an emergency meeting happening right now if it didn't already happen this afternoon. Trying to figure out what they're going to say. If, like Hargeet was saying, if you want the hardware, your next hardware, which I've heard some things and it sounds very exciting. I'm very excited as an Xbox fan. Some of the stuff that I've heard, if you want people to buy into your ecosystem, like I think Parris is right on the money here. There's got to be more to this. It can't be everything day and dates everywhere. They have to entice people to buy into the hardware that Phil said they were going to have.
Yeah.
And Game Pass, like I've said in my opening, is currently still the exclusivity of why you own an Xbox. Game Pass is not going to the Switch. It's not going to PlayStation. So you buy an Xbox so you can get these incredible experiences for a cost-effective price. But we have to know if that is going to be a 6-month window, a 1-year window. You know, I mean, is it case by case? But they have to be more clear. But listen, I just want to say this before I get out of here. Big shout out to Parris and Hargeet, and of course, congratulations, WEBDAVE and RHETRI. You guys put on a great show.
Thank you, brother.
1,100 people in the chat, folks. Please, if you're here and you're enjoying the banter, they do this every week. Subscribe to their channel. Please hit the like button. He's looking for 500. I think we could do better. And obviously, I'm Mr. Boomstick XL. I don't need to sell my stuff. You guys know who I am. Obviously, we're going to talk about this tomorrow on the Xbox show that we do at noon. It's the Xbox lunch break special. And then, of course, throughout the week, as this news breaks, we're going to be covering it each and every day. And thanks so much, guys, for having me. Congratulations once again on the success.
Thank you.
Thank you, Boom. We
Love you,
really
buddy.
appreciate you being here.
All right, guys.
Thank you so
Talk
much.
soon,
Have a great
man.
night, buddy.
Take care, Parris. Take care. Hargeet, I'll send you the link, brother.
Yep, have a good night.
All right.
Awesome. And like I said, we're not done yet. We just want to give him an. And Tim said he's might try and get back on here in a minute. He was having some phone issues. I think his phone actually was dying, so he had to stick it on a charger. And he's gonna come back when he can here in a minute. But I just and one thing that you said, Parris, that I thought was really good is that like the messaging, and it's like all we know is this from Phil.
This is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship,
which
on
apparently is a
platforms where
lie.
Game Pass exists.
Well,
Apparently
that's
that's a lie.
if it's something that they changed, but
Yeah,
still,
so,
it's like
well-
we need to know that, don't you think?
So here's another wackadoodle potential here, right? There have been some leaks, obviously, and they might want to find out who the hell's leaking it.
So say crazy stuff online and find out who's leaking it.
Oh, jeez.
Boom!
Really?
Exactly.
But
did we
again,
just
this
waste
is
2 hours?
probably
Maybe.
could
You
be.
never know.
Or
They
not.
got us.
Could really be something that crazy, right? They're like, we never officially said anything,
Yeah.
and they're just like they
Can you
like,
imagine?
put out feelers to people they think are leaking stuff, and see if it actually gets out there, right? Crazier things have happened, right?
Yeah.
So it is
that would-
it's a possibility. It's a wackadoodle possibility.
True. So if you're a channel member, hit the tinfoil hat icon in the chat right now. There you go. So,
Now,
go ahead.
I will just say, just from experience dealing with Xbox on the media side, when they have something big that they want to talk about to the media, they will, there's NDAs, embargoes, the whole thing. You get a heads up, ahead of time, and then you're able to put it out. And again, maybe this is a leak, so they weren't ready to talk about it, but if they're getting ready to talk about something this big, I would imagine they would want to have a briefing with the media to answer these type of questions, because there's no way you can just put out an Xbox Wire post and go, hey guys, this is what we're doing. Bye.
Yeah.
You're
Good
going to
point,
have to
Parris.
talk about it and be very specific on what you're talking about. So again, this is just me being maybe hopeful. I don't know, but if this leaked out and now you have to move plans up and you got to talk about it, I could see Phil having an Xbox Wire post laying out what's happening, but they also, and they can obviously do this internally through their own Xbox podcast, things like that. You gotta get on camera and talk about this. You have to address, because if you're not going to talk directly to the media to where we could ask questions, you better be prepared to answer the clip that you just played. If you said that 2 years ago, what changed and why? And because you got to talk directly to your consumers. You got to talk directly to the people that spend their own money to travel across the country to go to these fan fest things. Your most loyal consumers, you need to make them feel good about still investing in the Xbox ecosystem. That's my thing. You still need to do that work. And they've done that over the years. Obviously, they've never just completely ignored the community. This will be a big deal tomorrow morning. And I will be shocked if there's not something said publicly. There has to be. It has to come from Phil. It has to be Phil. It cannot be Sarah. Can't be Matt Booty or somebody like that. It has to be Phil because it's on your watch. So you got to talk about it from a leadership standpoint.
If it's true, Phil, Parris, that like Phil is being directed by upper management. Mm-hmm. I think Satya and Phil both need to come out on stage and just tell.
Very well could be. Mm-hmm.
What are you doing here? Right.
Yeah.
So.
That would be nice. I don't think that'll happen, but I would like to see that happen, Hargeet. But I think they'll be like in the background. They just make the decisions and send someone. Yeah, stick and move. I mean, I made a video. Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say a big shout out to Boss Mod Lethal Papa for keeping our streets safe in the chat tonight. Thank you. Go ahead.
And I'll say this because no one says I can't say it because it is what it is. I personally feel like something has changed in the last 60 to 90 days. And I'll give this scoop. I was going to have Mike Ybarra on XCast early this year. It had been talked about. They'd been talking to me since November about how it was around BlizzCon time about him coming on. Mm-hmm. And even as late as the Game Awards in person, Blizzard PR tracked me down at the Game Awards and re-emphasized how much they wanted me to sit down and talk to Mike Ybarra, talk about Blizzard, what the future was going to be, how they're going to integrate with Xbox, all this stuff, all this wonderful stuff. Freaking great. Let's do it. I can't wait to do it. Right. And then obviously he leaves and, new president comes in. That's great. Fine. But I even was telling Danny, I go, something changed. It just abruptly leaving. I get the layoffs. I get understanding the redundancies and all that stuff. But I just feel like something within Xbox has changed post Activision acquisition. What it is, we'll probably never know specifically. But seeing that he left the way that he did when prior to that, he seemed to be all in with it. And I talked to other people at the Game Awards that were at Blizzard and just how excited they were to be at Xbox and all that stuff and talking about coming up the Blizzard to the studio, all these things. And then all of a sudden this happens. And then obviously these rumors are happening now. I just think more than ever, the leadership just has to address it and help us understand. Because my thing before today was, no, you don't need to run out and address Twitter rumors. But I did feel that whatever you're doing with Activision Blizzard, when you're ready to talk about that, because you need to talk about that before Showcase, in my opinion, whenever you're ready to talk about that, you need to address the elephant in the room too, with the Hi-Fi Rush and all that stuff. But now I think that clearly is accelerated. You need to address what your plans are as far as multi-platform goes, and you got to be concise about it so people understand, and then they can make their own decisions on if they like it or not. You know what I mean? But just say, this is what we're doing. And then we get to make up our minds and we get to have 5-hour podcasts talking about it. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it happens this week. I don't think you can wait anymore. I think at some point this week, they're going to sit down and talk about it. They have to.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's happening tomorrow. I think if they wait any more beyond that, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. But three weeks ago, I made a conspiracy theory video about Microsoft appeasing regulators. And that's why I thought these games were going to go in a bunch of places, because I thought maybe they were souping up for the next acquisition, where you saw Brad Smith start kind of backtracking, doing a little Michael Jackson move with the CMA saying XYZ. I understand where the CMA is coming from. They made some good points. Now we're all buddy. And it was like a 180 from what Brad had said earlier. And I was wondering, is this just prepping? Is Xbox just playing the nice guy? Our games go everywhere to prep for the next big acquisition. I don't know if you guys think that's a load of bull, but it was a conspiracy theory video that I made, and I don't know if it sounds too crazy anymore.
No, I think that's part of it. I think they want to grow. They want to be like Tencent.
Exactly.
That's part of the mindset. That factors in, but Yeah, that's listen. Again, when you look at it, and I was just thinking about stuff that they're going to do. They're going to be the first to do digital. They're going to be doing ads on Game Pass, I believe. They're going to be maybe not putting every game into Game Pass. That's up in the air. They're gonna run like a business, uh, and they're gonna look to grow. If let's say this does become successful, and they see the numbers that they want to see, that's just gonna make them say, "Hey, we could buy more," and you know what? We're just gonna make it fully third party. At that point, right now is a critical point. It's going to be very interesting to see 2 months, 3 months. I know myself personally, I'm a stubborn dude, man. I won't give in. So the line is drawn for me, but a lot of other people could just say, hey, who cares? Like, I get the game on Game Pass, and who cares? And those are the people that, they might be banking on. And I don't know where it's going to go from here. But I think the only real negative is you're eroding your hardware fan base, and you're eroding the messaging with hardware. But they could just switch around to the devil's advocate and say, Tim, they're dead in the UK. They're running 90 to 10 in France. They're running 85 to 15 in Spain. They're 98 to 2 in Japan. They're in in your own home country. You're not even number one. You're selling the console cheaper than a Switch at $349, and you're not beating it. There's a major hardware problem already, and now it's just like you're throwing in the white flag. And some can argue that they're going about this the right way. It's just that, like I said, it's bittersweet because, or it's upsetting because we all were told that we were going to get this, and they're not giving us this. They're giving us that. They're going back on their word on some things, and they will further go back on their word because what matters most to them is stock holders, bottom line, and the money, and that's where it's at. That's the reality. And that's why it's a business, and unfortunately, there's no friends in business. It is what it is, and I mean, it sucks. I see a lot of upset Xbox fans, but who knows? It's going to remain to be seen. Tomorrow they'll probably have some PR. Look for that. Hopefully they don't screw that up. Hopefully they can message it. Maybe there's an off chance that they can reverse a little course, but I doubt that. This is where it's going, and unfortunately, it happened on a weekend too. They didn't nip this in the bud, but they only have themselves to blame because this thing festered, and they reeled along Xbox fans for way too long. I'm sorry. I talked about third party like we talked about freaking the regulators. It gets boring, and Sony guys wanted it, and they're gonna get it, and who knows? It remains to be seen. I personally think that they're gonna have a successful model, but it was at the cost of us, of the hardcore, and people that put faith in them.
Parris needs to jump off. We'll let him wrap up his bars there. Go ahead, Parris.
Yeah, so I just want to say this really quick because I'm actually looking at what someone's saying in the chat, and this is kind of the point why they need to come out and be definitive because and look, I love Nick and Jez to death, but both of them speculating that Hellblade 2 or Halo might come to PlayStation only further stokes the fires. We obviously heard the Indiana Jones things as well. So it's like, in other words, speculating about it, be definitive about it. Tell me if Halo and Hellblade 2, which is the first thing that we saw with the Series X, it is the very first IP that we saw that was coming to the quote unquote next gen Xbox hardware, is finally about to come out. And then you're about to tell me, well, you don't really need an Xbox because you're going to get it on PlayStation. No, be definitive about that, because my thing is this. Am I upset if Xbox IPs get to go to another platform? Not really. I really don't care. As long as I get to play them where I want to play them is all I care about. But I'm more concerned about the console hardware itself, because if you do that, there's no point to having Xbox hardware. And in the grand scheme of things, you need that competition to remain. You need Xbox to push PlayStation to keep being innovative with their hardware, and vice versa. You need PlayStation to keep pushing Xbox to be innovative. Nintendo is going to be Nintendo. They don't care. But if we lose that, that hurts us as gamers, because what's the incentive for PlayStation to try and invest in the latest and greatest technology and push their hardware forward? They'd be like,
they'd be like Nintendo.
We'll back off on that. We'll save money. We'll make a profit when we put hardware out versus losing money when we put it out. That's what I don't want to lose. I want that competition to stay there, because that's how we continue to get great deals. Look, PlayStation Plus doesn't exist if it wasn't for Xbox Live Gold, right? Game Pass does not exist without PlayStation dominating during the PS4 era, right? Backwards compatibility on Xbox does not exist because of that. Xbox Play Anywhere doesn't. You know what I'm saying? It's like all these things came about because of the competition that they were having. If we're taking that competition away and it's just about selling the most games, gaming itself will not continue to innovate. That's what I'm worried about. So hopefully they come out and are definitive, say what the plan is. Hopefully it's something that we like and not upset about. And, we just go from there.
Parris, thank you so much for joining us tonight, man. I appreciate you jumping on. And you are always welcome. Always.
Yes, I broke my personal rule, but I think this was a good one.
I know. We're talking to you 2 days in a row now, Parris.
I know, right? Awesome. Crazy. But you all have a good night.
Tell everybody.
Good to see you, Parris.
All right. Well,
they know
Parris.
They know him.
In the chat. I'll put all the description, everything in there. Again, thanks for Parris. So Tim, where are you at, man? Anything else that you want to get off your chest about this situation, or
we pretty much covered it. Like I said, I want Xbox fans to give their discourse and give their meaning, but I don't want you to curse people out. I want you to be respectful. Myself is going to be respectful. Personally, I don't really want to even talk to Phil right now, because there's nothing that needs to be said. I know where they're going. I would have appreciated maybe a heads up, or say, hey, listen, I understand that they're obligated to not say anything, but then again, they're leaking all over the place, and now it's just a wildfire, it's a bonfire, and it's just disappointing, because they should know better. They should have learned this stuff in 2013. A lot of the people that are there around here now. And again, I just wish they had done it differently. What upsets me the most is how they streeled it along. If it just hit us one day, where we would just hit third party, we all had to digest it at the same time, things might be different. Maybe I don't say the things, and I say, hey, am I gonna still game on Game Pass? Of course. It's the best deal in gaming going, but will I might buy a PlayStation 5 Pro, and where I wouldn't be getting it? Yeah, because I might want to play these Hellblade. I might want to play Hellblade at native 4K or something that's possible because of the better hardware. I'm not really a PC guy. I like consoles, so
you might be soon, Tim.
but in reality, it's just, I kind of always knew when I became this fan that there'd be a day like this, and here we are, and it is what it is. I mean, in closing, I was a Met fan for 25 years when Wilpons and the Madoff thing happened. And when I say I'm stubborn, I'm stubborn. I didn't go to a Mets game for about 6-7 years, or like 6-7 years. and it wouldn't be when I paid for it. And then I started becoming a fan legitimately back again when Cohen took the team over. I did not
Right.
follow them for about 10 years. And now, like, I watch every game. I'm back to being the fan that I was. But that's how seriously I am as a person. Like, you know, if I say something, I mean it. You know what I mean? And I'm at
Yes.
that point, and I said something, and I mean it. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to be a jerk. I just want people to know that I'm not going to be Red Dragon. I'm not going to be any guys
Thank you
like
for that,
that.
Tim.
Guys
Tim,
like
you are
that.
super awesome, so we appreciate you.
Honestly, guys like that are going to be in for a rude awakening because nobody's going to care anymore. Because I honestly think this is a thing that Xbox, a lot of the heat that Xbox got and the Starfield stuff, that's all going to go away. People are just going to look at Xbox kind of as like an afterthought, and they're not going to look at them as a threat in the hardware. And people are just going to kind of just like smirk about them, and you know, and I don't know if they're going to be taking that serious. I don't think they like I said, they'll be number one by revenue, but they're never
Mm.
the hardware portion of their future is dead in my opinion, and it's just like I said, I kind of always knew this day would come, and here we are. But who knows? We'll see. We'll see in 3 months. I heard they have a amazing showcase. I'll definitely tune in. I'm not going there though, and I'm not being an influencer. I'm not going to FanFest. You know, but I will support people in the community and people who are friends like you guys. I'm not deading anybody just because you're an Xbox fan. Still my friends. People come first. And I just want to preface that you know, it's not that serious at the end of the day. You know what's serious? Getting up at 5 in the morning and making your bills every month. That's the
Yep.
reality. So we can
Facts.
go back and forth, and people say, "This is this," or "You're having a breakdown." No, this isn't my. You know, I have a breakdown if something bad happens with health, or something happens with my family, or dogs. Those
Right.
are things that you really care about. This is
Mhm.
recreational stuff. But it's a big disappointment, and I just think that Xbox just can't they could just never get out of the way of themselves, and this is just a clear case where they really they got this wrong, and it's bad. It's like they really screwed this up. They screwed the pooch.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Tim, do you able to stick around any longer, or do you need to take off?
I gotta get dinner or something. I didn't get to eat because I was
No,
supposed
yes,
to.
and I greatly appreciate you jumping on. Timdog,
Yeah,
I can't thank
awesome.
you
How many?
enough
What
for
did
being
we
here.
hit today? What did we hit? 1,000?
Yeah, over
We hit
1,100, I think.
1,140
Wow.
at one time, and right now we're still at 999. So we're not going anywhere yet. We
Wow.
still got a little bit longer, but
I'm
thank you
still
all.
trying to get
Thank you.
Jeff to come here. I don't know where he went. He ran away.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, maybe we'll have you on again whenever you feel like talking, or if things change, or
Yeah,
anything happens, or anything more definitive. Tim, you know you have an open book. You're always welcome here. Okay, sir.
Absolutely,
brother,
Tim.
you guys
Thank you,
rule.
man.
Take
Love
care.
you,
Thank
man.
you so much, Tim. Have a great night.
Me too.
See you, Tim.
Later, bud.
All right.
Well,
So
Tim,
cool.
Tim
Retri-
definitely feels a certain way.
Exactly.
And I
Exactly.
you know, I don't like, you know, he's been ingrained in this like more than 99.9% of everybody who's here. So I think people are saying like Tim's exaggerating. He feels, you know, he's ingrained
He
in
feels
this,
the way he
man.
feels.
This
Yeah.
he feels the way he feels, and that's perfectly fine. Plus, this is still fresh, man. This just happened. This is not
Yeah.
old news.
Yeah.
This literally just happened hours ago. But yeah, let's get through
If
some
you
of
don't,
these
if you
supers.
let's rip through these super chats. And
Yeah.
again, we're gonna get to all these, and then I know Hargeet's got some more things he wants to say,
Yeah,
and
he's
I'd
got some more
love to
stuff
hear
to
more
cook.
from Hargeet and from you, Retri, too. I want to hear from both of you.
Yeah.
So let's
Let's get
read
these
through these
on,
real
though.
quick.
Galveston with the $2 says maybe this is why Todd said to buy a better PC. Yeah, maybe he was trying to let you know. He was trying to, a little foresight there. Karn Artistic with the $2 says going to drop Game Pass. Good idea. Well, we have to do it collectively if we're going to do it, right? That was the whole March thing. Let's all drop off and give them a giant middle finger. Butterball 8 with the $2 says better go third party than to lay off 10,000. That's a good point. That's a good point too. Karn Artistic with the $2 says, let's go against this like the movie Dump Money. Laugh out loud like that. I got Saul with the $2 says who leaves first, Phil, Sarah, or Peaches? Peaches.
Man.
Oof,
Maybe nobody. We'll just have to see what's going on.
I don't know. I don't think any of them are going anywhere, to be honest with you.
And
Mike
maybe
with
this
the
is all just a rumor.
This could all be bullshit. Can you imagine? Oh my god. I'll be very happy about it if it is. But Mike with the $10 says Microsoft spent billions to break up the Apple Google duopoly only to give Sony and Nintendo their own at a time when Xbox is stronger than ever. It makes no sense. Nate is your source, RHETRI. I'm not saying anything about my sources, but we do have sources. I was told some stuff behind the scenes, but listen. I mean, I don't know if you're alluding to Nate the Hate, but guys, I believe these rumors. Nate the Hate got a lot of hate. Jez got a lot of people were like, "Shut up, Jez! Stop saying this stuff." It's all in the rumor mill, but we've seen The Verge, we see Xbox Era out here. It is the smoke. There's too much smoke, man, and I feel like there's fire behind it. And it's too much.
We have a lot more super chats, but I do want to give we have Special Nick in the chat. We have Gaz in the chat.
What's up,
guys? We have D-Batches in the chat, and so many other amazing content creators. And One Bad Mother is in the chat. C Money's in the chat. Guys, thank you all for being here. We greatly appreciate it. We still have over 1,000 people in the chat, so we're not done yet. So we'll get to these super chats, and then we're going to get to some Hargeet and some RHETRI.
I know you're here for the Hargeet hotness. Let's go.
There we go.
Let's see. Hey, it's Aggie with the $5 says that thumbnail hits differently right now. I love gaming, as we all do, man. DS Omen with the $5 says perhaps Xbox execs are confident that Game Pass is what sells the Xbox, not the exclusives. I hope they're that confident. That would make me feel better. I like that theory. Andre Doyle with the $2 says only Microsoft can tell us what the plan is. Absolutely true. And they should probably do it tomorrow.
Hopefully.
They better. David Weinhold with the $5 says Xbox started this gen with no launch exclusives for a year, went almost 2 years without a AAA exclusive, November 2021 to September 2023. That kills console sales. Well, it sure as shit doesn't help. That's, you're not wrong there. Rachie with the $2 says 84 million times 360 plus 88 million PS3 equals 170 million, over 58 million Xbox One plus 120 million PS4 equals 178 million. Why would you make me read that, Rachie? Come on, man.
but there's a whole lot of overlap. Most of those 360 people had a PS3.
There you go.
So good point. That's a good point, Hargeet.
Most of the Xbox One people also had a PS4.
Yeah, so. very, very guilty of that one, 100%. Kingfish737 just became a member for 3 months. He says, honestly, this show is better than the Grammys tonight. Great show. I didn't even know the Grammys was on. Appreciate you coming on, brother.
You don't need to know the Grammys are on.
Yeah, there are no Grammys. No, we're gamers. I don't care about that shit. Nate Dogg with the $2 says, Tim, can you come back to RDX if it returns? Maybe Tim will watch that. I'll send him a DM asking that for you, brother. Mr. BLTs with the $5 says, agree with Paris. I don't want to go to FanFest again. I enjoyed it last year. If this is true, why waste my money if I'm not valued? Fair criticism, man.
Yeah,
Anonymous Boss with the $10 says, some people trolling in the chat, you big bad Halo and Gears are not going to PlayStation 5, but yes, the other games will for a fact. Stop trolling people. Stop stirring the pot for nothing, you goofies. Yeah, that's right. Hold on to Halo, Gears, and Forza and whatever. Fable, maybe.
So I'm gonna let we're gonna let the Hargeet drop some more bars. I'm gonna step out for just 2 seconds, and then I will be back. I'll let the dog out, and I'll be right back. And then if you need a break, we'll let you take one after that too.
All right.
So, RHETRI, you asked the question about the acquisitions thing, right? So, first, you have to understand it's Microsoft. It's not just gaming, right? And Microsoft,
absolutely,
continuously they keep acquiring stuff. So, and there's plenty of things they need to do in the cloud space and the AI space. So they will look to do those acquisitions. If it's in the gaming space, I think they're kind of like blocked right now because of the stupid FTC trial. Until that happens, until that's done, I think they're kind of not going to bother unless it's a small thing.
Well,
in which case it wouldn't go to regulators.
But Hargeet, I'm like in my video, I did this 3 weeks ago. I was talking about was Microsoft playing 4D chess, and are they playing the long game? Because I agree with you. I mean, Hargeet, not too long ago, we were both talking. We thought the next acquisition might happen sooner in this year than later. But again, things are fluid, things have changed, and the feeling is I don't get that feeling no more. I do not get that feeling anymore. But I do think that it's possible that maybe they are playing the long game to set up the pins for that next acquisition and knock them down. So you have regulators like the CMA and the FTC go, well, okay, these guys are playing ball with all their IPs. How can we then argue later that we're scared that you might hold on to the your IPs if they're not holding on to jack shit? You know what I'm saying? And it's a crazy theory or whatever, but now after today, it feels like a little more maybe weight to it.
So Parris brought up a very interesting point of something's changed, right? And
yeah,
you know, at some point you have to look at the fact that Xbox, the little, you know, the thing that they just did on the side, has now become like the reason it even exists is because Windows was threatened by PlayStation when they said they were going to go into the living room, right? So they made Xbox to you know, stave that off. That didn't actually end up being a problem, but now the thing that was intended to help Windows is beating Windows as a revenue source. I don't know if that's necessarily it. I think it's saying, hey, look, you know, you guys have a certain amount of profit you make, and that's cool, but I kind of need to show growth. And how am I going to see that growth? And if you put Call of Duty in Game Pass, what is the impact to the Call of Duty revenue? If you put Diablo in Game Pass, what is the revenue drop?
I don't like where you're going, Hargeet, right now.
Right, and there's some realities to these things. There just is, right?
Absolutely.
And you say, okay, fine, let's take that path and play it out, play out the numbers. The finance dude is saying, yo, I think you should be putting these things. And he's been saying, he was consistent about this even with Bethesda. It's first and best on Xbox, but then it will be everywhere. Right? That was that was what he was saying. And it was then used against him, right? It was used against him in the ABK thing. He was saying the same thing with ABK. It may end up being true for ABK because I don't think they're saying they're taking anything exclusive with ABK. So maybe everything just stays multi-plat there. So you have to just start figuring out where's the hit, right? How do you handle Game Pass existing and still keep everything funded? Do you still make the same amount of profit? And do you start increasing that profit, right? Once you're the third biggest revenue source at Microsoft, you're going to have to provide an increase in profit. Good, bad, or indifferent. And that might be part of what's going on here. The finance part of it is kicking in. So that's sad because it doesn't do what you need to do. The platform has to have core audience and enthusiasts. I'm going to take a sip of water. Hold on.
No, you're good. You're good. No, I mean, I definitely agree with what you're saying. I just hope that, I mean, like what Timdog was saying, he was, you know, referring to possibly ABK games or Call of Duty specifically skipping Game Pass. And oh man, let me tell you, if that happens,
now that would be an interesting one.
That would be crazy.
It could happen though, right?
It could. I could. Like I don't deny. Look,
you never know.
I don't feel like nothing sounds crazy to me anymore. This company bought ABK. Sounded bananas back in the day. That was crazy talk to suggest that. There's nothing out of the realm. And if these rumors, you know, from The Verge and Xbox Era and Jez and everyone else come to fruition, I like to Tim's point. How can you trust anything anymore? Like I feel like anything can happen then, right? You know what I mean, Hargeet? But
yeah, and
you were saying,
there's this idea that everything they do can go to everything, right? So, for instance, is Nintendo going to say, "Yeah, sure, you can put every game on our platform"? Maybe. We don't know that that's going to happen.
Right.
The same with PlayStation. They could just say, "Nah, we block these games because you're just going to make money off of us." That's also a possibility.
Yep.
We don't know, right? Certainly Call of Duty they're going to take. They're probably going to take big games like Elder Scrolls or Diablo, right? Absolutely they're going to take those, Fallout or something like that. Fine.
Yeah.
Something like Blade, they'd probably just say, yeah, absolutely, because it's a superhero game. We'll want it, right? Or Indiana Jones, we'll want it.
Mm-hmm.
Do they want Avowed? Maybe.
Toss up.
Right? Now, look, if you look at that little bar thing they had of what games, what is the advantage of exclusivity, right? There was like the niche games, and then the new IP, unknown audience, and then the large games that have an established audience, like Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle was the area that you would have exclusivity. Otherwise, it doesn't matter, right? So if I take that to the logical conclusion, every niche game, so that means Undead Labs, for instance, is that niche? It is. Every Double Fine game is niche. It is.
Yeah.
Right? You could pretty much take every Obsidian game and say, does it have a large audience? Maybe some of them do, but like, is Avowed not a niche game? It is. South of Midnight, 100% niche. It's absolutely niche. So you should just expect that to be everywhere, right? And so you just go down the catalog and say, well, what the heck is exclusive? What did you get
Like,
me
what's
as
big
a
in-
console player on an Xbox that says I only get this here, therefore I have value for the console? Because look, it doesn't matter that, yes, I get to play games. We've had that forever, and everybody laughed at the Xbox because it had no games. What was the reason? Well, it had games. It just didn't have exclusives. Exclusives that drove people to buy the Xbox, right? Except for enthusiasts. If you take that away and say, well, we're back to Halo, Gears, and Forza, but even that might just go over. Well, then why are we here? What the heck is
Like,
what am I even doing here?
like, what's the point of this platform? And you know, like, yes, there is a cost barrier for getting a high-end PC, but I got to point out,
Yeah.
the MSI Claw is coming out. We have the Asus ROG Ally. We have the Steam Deck.
True.
We have the Lenovo. We have the Aya Neo, and more are being made. It's PC gaming, and it's coming in at an affordable price. You can dock your portable console, the PC console, and you have a console that plays games across the board, including all of Xbox's games and Game Pass. Well, so why isn't that the right path for most people? Game Pass PC is cheaper. It includes EA for $10 a month.
Yep.
You're kind of pushing people over to the lower tier to just move over there, right? Because look, there are a lot better deals if you buy a game on Steam. There just are.
Oh yeah.
A lot better deals. And oh, by the way, PlayStation has promised all their games to come to Steam. So you just buy like a $700 Asus ROG Ally and dock that sucker. And you've got all the PlayStation games, you've got all the Steam games, you've got all the Epic games, and all the Xbox games. Where's the downside? The downside is the interface.
Right.
Now, if that's something that they can
Windows
resolve,
itself,
right?
Yeah.
If they can resolve that piece, which they're probably working on right now, the console for the Xbox side becomes so irrelevant because they're trying to port everything that's cool of the Xbox console over to Windows anyway, right? There's rumors of having quick resume over there. They're already going to have, but this is the thing. So I don't want to get too belabored into it, but just think about like basically Xbox UI, Xbox features, console features on Windows now available to you on the next ROG Ally, right? The next Aya Neo, the next whatever, right? And not you have hardware competition. Pick whatever you want, and you get the entire catalog of everything Xbox. You get all the PlayStation, you get all the Steam, you get all the Epic, you get all the GOG, you get all the Amazon, right? Everybody who's got games on PC, you get all those available to you. That is going to end up being where we go. And
but why can't Xbox be the next one who does that as well? That makes that UI interface on an Xbox Switch type of device that's just a more powerful device that docks.
There'd be no point to it, right? So if you're gonna do the portable, the better. And why I say that, if you're in the world of IT and you deal with Microsoft, what do? They build stuff for themselves and say, can we sell that to others? Right? If they do it on Xbox, can they sell it to others? Maybe. If they do it on Windows, they can sell it to every one of those companies I mentioned, right?
Right,
Asus,
yeah.
Lenovo, INEO,
Right.
right? MSI. They can all buy that. Hey, you want to have a better interface? Cool. We have a specialized Windows for you. It will do a custom, console UI, and it will aggregate all the stores and give you this awesome interface that gives you all your games. You want it? Sure. Go for it. Right? That's what Microsoft loves to do. They create it for themselves.
Yeah.
And then they say, let's bundle it up, package it up, and sell it. So if it's on Windows, they can do that. So that's why I think it's going to be Windows. If they make a portable, they probably are. It's going to be a Windows device. It's going to run with
I think it will be too.
Custom interface.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
The key features of that are we need to work with you as a partner, and so that all the updates happen like on Xbox. Well, you don't think about it. It's just Patch Tuesday, and it gives you a nice console update that includes everything. Right? And you don't think about separate driver for this firmware update, blah 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 blah. It's just here's my console update, and everything's done. I reboot, and I'm in my new OS, right? My new updated version, right? And the technology already exists. They already have it. It's on Xbox. They just have to put it over, right?
Like
so that's what they kind of need to do, right? So, yeah, exactly. I'm looking at the super. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I saw
PlayStation does not have to say yes. They don't. Yeah. They don't have to say yes. It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Usually, read that super chat real fast, and we got one more after that, and then we'll come right back to your point. Corey,
True. Rushan says, "How do we know that PlayStation won't block Microsoft games later to kill them?" Yep, that's something PlayStation is known for. Yeah, I mean,
I'll point out another
said that
thing though is that usually the way that works is you have a publisher agreement with the with the platform, and usually you're not blocked from putting games on. So it's usually, hey, Xbox or EA or whatever, you can publish your games on our platform, but you do have to submit it for certification, right? And that's it. It's usually not that game we're not going to allow. It's usually, as a publisher, you're allowed to publish whatever you want, right? You just have to get it certified. So could they do something like that? Yes, it would be very shady, and it would likely get some interesting eyes from governments to say, yo, what are you doing here?
Yep. 100%.
So they could do it, but I don't think they will. I think they would just let it roll. Right? It's the same thing with Nintendo. What Nintendo usually does though is say it doesn't meet our family friendliness thingy, right? So so there could be some push there, right? But even then, you could probably just put in filters to say, make it less gory or something like that, whatever, right? But
yeah, absolutely. Mr. Giano Dark with the $5 says, Yanio GPD Win Max. I'm sorry, I'm tired, guys. MSI Claw ROG Ally 1X player, and you can get an eGPU to get better performance. He says, hello, gentlemen. I've been lurking. Yes,
it's facts. It's facts, right? Yeah. And then you can bump that up, right? There's a dock that gives you a 4090, right?
You're right.
That's a lot of performance.
That's pretty crazy.
And you don't have to buy it up front. If you want to get it later, you can, right? Pretty cool stuff. So,
yeah, I don't know. Dave, do you have anything? I know, like you were trying to sit back tonight and let everyone else cook. We appreciate that. But do you have anything that you want to add to what we've been discussing for the last 2.5 hours?
Well, just to kind of wrap things up, we do still have over 888 people in the chat, which we greatly appreciate.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
But stick around. As soon as this stream does end in the next few or so, we are going to automatically send everybody in the chat over to Plume Network, where he's deep into these topics tonight as well. So just so you know, if you're still in the because a lot of us are itching to keep talking about this subject. Well, he's gonna have you covered for the next couple of hours, and that's Tony from the Plume Network. If you don't follow him, you should. He puts on a daily news podcast every single day, and it's pretty awesome. But my thing is, the one thing is that definitely what Parris was saying, what Boom was saying, what Timdog was saying, they need to come out and say something soon, hopefully tomorrow, because right now this is still just a rumor.
Yeah.
But it's from who it's coming from the people
Really
in the
solid
industry,
one, though.
the insiders. It's got a lot of
some
teeth
legs,
to it.
man.
Yeah, it's definitely got a lot. So that's why we basically changed our whole show tonight.
We had
topics
to.
and everything.
There was
yeah,
no
we did.
avoiding
and
this
that's,
topic.
Yeah,
There was no avoiding
that's
this.
one of the things that hopefully you'll appreciate us is that we will definitely do that. And then of course, what an amazing panel! And then we were able to get in Hargeet and PARRIS Lilly as well to jump
We called
in,
it Hargeet too. By the way, we were saying like we know, like we knew you were showing up tonight. I just had it.
Yeah,
I was like, you can't resist. No way.
Especially with
Yeah,
took
and
a break
our podcast had to be.
That's true. Yeah, get better Fonz, man. I know he's sick right now. That is definitely going around.
Fonz Gaming is amazing, and every Sunday night you get to watch Hargeet Chani and Fonz together, and they make a great dynamic duo.
Yeah,
They start an hour before us, so you can sit there and watch their whole show, and then join us afterwards on Sundays. Except for next Sunday. Well, look, you know what? It's
my fault, Dave. I'll take it. I'll jump on this grenade.
Christmas Eve. We did New Year's Eve.
Yes,
but we're not doing the Super Bowl.
Everyone thinks that's funny. Like that's the one I'm skipping. Wow. That's the one I'm skipping. Yes, I'm a football fan, guys. I like sports.
Hargeet is awesome. I was in the chat. Hargeet's awesome. You're right. I'll agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's basically my feelings on it. It's like. I mean, this is a great subject. We had so many, and if you're just joining us or just got a chance to listen, please go back and watch the replay because it is nonstop from beginning to end with all this amazingness. RHETRI, did you have anything else you wanted to add? And then I'll go to Hargeet and then we'll wrap things up. But if anything else you want to add, let's talk about it now.
For me, it's I'm just gonna add hold the line, pussies. No, I'm just gonna. Now, for me, dude, like I'm not going anywhere. Like I'm ride or die. I'm gonna see what happens. I love Game Pass. As long as it exists, I'm gonna be around. If there's a Keystone and there's a $90 thing that they make, I'll probably buy that too. I'll buy the next whatever tech, whether it's a handheld or a full blown Xbox. I'm all in. I'm just here for the games, man. I'm here for the gaming and to be cheap and get it at a really cheap price. So I love Game Pass. I just hope that doesn't die because then I'll be very unhappy. But I do want to say thank you, Hargeet, and thank you everyone who came out tonight to chat with us. And mostly everyone was pretty cordial. Everyone was cool. I know feelings are super high right now. This is still fresh. The wound is still is open. And I think, to PARRIS's point, Hargeet's and everyone else's, I think we all agree, like Dave just said, that they have to say something. And tomorrow, it's got to be the day. They got to say something tomorrow.
Do you really think they'll have something ready for tomorrow?
Even if it's just Phil coming out in the tweet saying, "Dude, where are y'all going?"
Right, like Hargeet's it's Microsoft. Like we know they should, which means they probably won't.
They won't.
But I think they should do it tomorrow. I'll be a little surprised if maybe not in the morning, but if it's sometime tomorrow. Like Jesus, come on, guys. Like you gotta get ahead of this a little bit. I mean, you're already behind it, I guess. So you're already screwed there. But you gotta try to.
RHETRI,
pain in a little bit.
Hargeet,
yes,
have you guys liked this episode? Because we're just 2 away from getting 500 likes on this episode. Just so you know.
Ooh!
So if you haven't yet, you guys need to go like this episode. Everybody else in the chat, if you get a chance, hit the like button.
I had a chance to do that. Let me do that.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Get us over
man,
the top. Yeah.
What hell of a great show tonight. Oh my God, this was our best show by far, and we greatly appreciate everybody. And Hargeet, I'm so glad that you jumped on. I from the bottom of my heart, and I've told you this off and everything, is that we love having you on, man.
Yeah, we
and
do.
Like I said, we were so happy that you and Fonz were getting together, but then it
was a double-edged sword. We're not gonna lie. Me and WebDave both went, damn it, more Hargeet. But hey, if you feel like doing a marathon Hargeet, you're welcome to pop in anytime, man. Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. Anytime, you're always welcome to jump on. And like I said, tonight was absolutely perfect. So thank you again for being here.
Yeah,
please, Hargeet, go ahead and tell everybody where they can reach you, and all the shows that you're on, which is a lot.
Right. So you can reach me on Discord and on Xbox as Chani. And then I'm on, as we mentioned, Fonz Gaming's channel on Sundays, usually right before you guys at 6 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have our podcast, Games Talk Live. And then I'm on Primetime Gaming with Boom at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Wednesdays. And that's on the Double Barrel Gaming channel. And then GameOnDaily.com and YouTube.com/GameOnDaily. I'm part of them as well. And every now and then I'll show up on Go Live, which is 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Saturdays. And the last episode had Jaffe. I got to watch about half of it. And had to go somewhere. So, but yeah, it was an interesting time. Jaffe's always fun.
Yeah, dude, he's always on. I love Jaffe.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, and then maybe in the future we'll have RDX again. I don't know, but that's kind of.
I have a feeling I have a feeling it's gonna come back at some point.
Yeah. I hope.
Look, real life happens to everybody, and I'm just glad the dealer
100%.
is getting into a better place because we have much love and respect for everything that he does, and his show. I guarantee you, when it does come back, it's not gonna miss a beat. Everybody's gonna flood to it and be like, hell yeah, showing him the support and love because he's amazing member of the community. And Hargeet,
he has to come back to this of all things.
Right?
Exactly.
I know. That's why I want to hear. I got to hear what he has to say after this. Yeah.
Oh goodness. Oh hey, we have another super chat, and it's a really nice one too. So I'll let you read that one.
Okay. Yeah. Super nifty Susie. I like the name. Do you think Blizzard will have more layoffs?
Yes.
Yes, I do. I hate this. Yeah, yes. I do. Because I was a little shocked, and I did a video about this too, but I was a little shocked at the percentage. I thought it was going to be higher. I'm not going to lie. Like, I don't mean to laugh about that, but like they overhired like a mofo over there. Like way overhired. In a very short period of time. So I'm not too surprised, but yeah, I expect more layoffs to come for sure.
There you go. And I just also want to say again, a big shout out to Boss Mod Lethal Papa, who absolutely was killing it tonight, keeping the streets safe tonight. I had actually give him a head up and said, dude, this could be a wild show. I know it was going to be this wild. So Boss Mod, thank you so much for being here and for keeping it safe for everybody. And oh my God, and so many amazing channel members, Splendiferous, like I said, C Money, Adele, so many great members of the community that jump on. And of course, I have to say this, Fark you.
He was waiting for that. He was sad that you didn't swear at him. So there you go, Fark you.
We love you, Fark you.
My London brother.
You are the man.
Yeah, it's late where he's at, so thank you for sticking with us, man.
It is. Oh, goodness. TTS, that's right. Talk that shit.
That's what we do.
Yeah. RHETRI, tell everybody where they can find you, and I will drop your stuff in the chat, but it'll also be in the description.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. You guys can find me on Twitter. I'm calling it Twitter again. Fuck X. I'm going Twitter. Game Pass _daily. And as Dave just put in the chat, Game Pass Daily on YouTube, where I make Game Pass content. I will be working very hard tomorrow to make a video for Tuesday, most likely, unless I can pull it out of my ass for tomorrow. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Got a new show coming out in March called Aim Down Sight, the Aim Down Sights podcast. I can't speak anymore. With Red Dead Panda and Next Gen Nero, that's coming out in March. I don't have an exact date, but I promise you it is March. I'm looking forward to that. That will be Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys there as well. But thank you guys. Thank you, chat, for coming out. We got another one.
Another super chat. Yeah. Right. After this, we're going to end the show. So please don't
Susie.
Another one.
After this, I appreciate you. Susie with the $5 says, do you think it'll be teams like HR opposed to game teams? Probably both. I feel like
because there's a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of crossover. Look, I got recently laid off from my job at the bank, and it was because we bought another huge bank, and basically it was unfortunately, which it is what it is. It's the way life is. After 10 plus years, the job that I was doing was repetitive, and they already had somebody that was like I think 10 more year tenure than I had. That was doing the same kind of job. So it just came down to thanks. But anyway, they gave me some opportunities to go back into other jobs. I could apply for other jobs in the bank. That's still a possibility. Gave great severance, all that kind of stuff. No complaints. But I decided, you know what? For now, I'm just gonna take a month off, and then I'm gonna see if there's something else different maybe that comes my way. And then if not, then I will I'll go back to the bank. But for right now, I'm good.
There you go.
Oh goodness. Again, thank you everybody for being here. So many great people, and we still have over 650 people watching us. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for being here, and thank you for everybody for joining us here on the Gamers Council.
Game over.